Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Outs here. It's Friday Freak Out, and I'm freaking out because the NBA schedule came out yesterday at 3 p.m. yesterday, and I've gone over it. I've looked at it very intensely, very closely. I've went and looked at it for a first glance, looked at a whole bunch of stuff, wrote it in my calendar, went back and looked at it some more, went back and looked at it some more. I've actually like triple checked the schedule at this point, and I feel like I'm very well versed with the rhythms and the patterns of travel and when the games are going to come towards us this 82 game season coming up for 2024 2025. That's right. The NBA schedule is out, and the Raptors are in their 30th season, and they're going to be playing a bunch of games that are going to be homages to our past. I can only speculate there will be purple jerseys on certain dates. And I believe there's 10 days of the schedule that we'll see the retro nights. I think I've figured out which nights they are. I have a whole bunch of key dates to go over today on the Raptor Freak stream. So I hope if you're interested, I appreciate everybody who gets up every morning and enjoys hearing what I have to say about Raptors related things. I appreciate y'all for trusting me and wanting to hear what I have to say about things. So yeah, I will say this in general. The Raptors schedule this year is the best schedule they've had in the last 3 years. The two schedules the last 2 years were absolutely effed. Yeah, the Nick Nurse sabotage year was one of the worst schedules the Raptors had ever gotten in the history of the NBA. And then last year had some messed up stuff in it too. But in certain ways, the stuff that was messed up about last season, well, it didn't totally affect us because at a certain point, the season was already done for us when Scotty broke his hand. So, yeah, this season, I'm actually not. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of what they did with us makes a lot of sense. Now there is some screwy stuff. There is some screwy stuff, but in some ways, because this is a rebuild year, I'm not going to get too upset because in some ways, these guys need to get thrown in the fire and learn harsh lessons early on as a young core, learning to build up the Raptors to more and more winning in the future. So I don't mind some of the stuff that's happening. In some ways, I think it's a very reasonable schedule. I'll say that the thing that's the most unreasonable about the schedule is New Year's. It's very, very crazy. We have a back-to-back this season where we play Boston Celtics on New Year's Eve in Boston. And then we have to travel across the border back to Canada to play the Brooklyn Nets on New Year's Day. So we actually have a back-to-back over New Year's, guys, where the Raptors will play in Boston New Year's Eve, then have to travel through customs back to Toronto on New Year's Eve to play the Nets and Jordy Fernandez and Dennis Schroeder on New Year's Day. So that may be the most egregious thing. But in some ways, if you don't care about New Year's, in some ways, these youngsters want to be on a plane trying to get back to Toronto instead of partying or whatever they're going to do. I don't know. They'll celebrate how they celebrate. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this happen. This not happened to the Raptors ever before, where we have a back-to-back New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. That's crazy. And that may be the thing that stuck out to me the most. Now, the Celtics games are around some kind of weird stuff in certain places. I would say that. There's quite a few Celtics games this year that are involved in back-to-backs, whether they're the first night of the back-to-back, like this New Year's Eve back-to-back, or the second night of the back-to-back. They are a lot of the games for the Celtics are involved in back-to-backs. I have noticed that. So let me take it from the top. I say the next thing that bugs me about the schedule after the New Year's Eve back-to-back is probably this. There's two. All right, they're doing this again where we have sets of games where we play the same opponent and we have to stay in a city for a while. Now, there's four of them. There's four series of 2 games against the same opponent in a row. The first one's really interesting and weird. It's with Miami, but I'll talk about that one later. First, I want to talk about the 2 in the middle, and that's Atlanta and Orlando. Yeah, there's going to be a part of the season where the Raptors are going to go to Atlanta, and they're going to play one game against the Hawks in Atlanta. They'll have a day off in Atlanta, and then they'll play a second game in Atlanta against the Hawks. Both games against the Hawks are in a row at the same time. Now, in some ways, Atlanta's not Miami, but Atlanta does have fun things to do for NBA players. I don't know. These guys are young. Do you think that they could get buck wild in Buckwood? I don't know. Because honestly, Atlanta is a hot spot for James Harden and the strippers and the chicken wings. But I don't know if our youngsters are enticed by the allure of Atlanta and the sins of that city. I don't know. In some ways, it's worrisome, but in some ways, it's not. Maybe let's think about good things for them instead, Lex. If they're going to be in Atlanta for 3 days, maybe they'll get to do a bunch of Turner Broadcasting like interviews. Maybe they'll be coming in the studio. IQ will come in and watch some games in the studio and be a studio guest in TNT or something like that. I don't know. I want to wish the best things for them. Now, there's a similar situation later on the year in March. We go to Orlando and we play the Orlando Magic at home, and then a day off, and then we go and play them a second game 2 days later. So there's like a extended Orlando vacation down there in March break time, right around in March. That's when that will be happening. I like that they don't have to travel and that these kind of games are like that. I kind of wish they were back to backs though. Like if we could have those be the back to backs instead of having a day of just hanging around. Although maybe these are good days for Darko to really do some practice, extra practice time because there's no travel, and that they can do stuff on that middle day to tighten up things. I don't know. Let's game this to the right way, Raptors franchise and Darko Rajakovic. That is an advantage for us. But yeah, there's those two on the road in Atlanta and Orlando. Little bit of a red flag, little bit like the last year's schedule with Miami at the very end of the season. 2 games in Miami in a row right at the end of the season. Really weird scheduling. I'm like, why are you even putting us in Miami then? Scotty didn't even play. Recently I found out that it was true. Scotty could have came back and played a couple of games at the end of the season. He was healed up, and I think it was either Jonathan or Brian Macon revealed that Scotty actually was healthy, and he had healed on the same schedule like Russell Westbrook because they had a similar hand injury last season at the same time, the same night they had it happen, the same procedure on their hands. And Russell came back and played before the end of the season, but Scotty never did. They just shut him down for the whole year. He could have came back and played a couple of games at the end of the season last year. It was disclosed that I was pretty sure about that. My educated, very observational, crazy watching the Raptors, every little big thing about it. I had said that Scotty could have came back at the end of the season. Well, it was confirmed that I was right, that he actually was healthy enough to actually finish the season. He could have came in there and got the 20-point average if he really, really wanted to or tried. But they decided, no, let's not do this to him. Let's have some dignity. Let's not get him back just for one game. The season's over. They're not playing for nothing. It's not like we're going into the playoffs. He needs to tune up to get ready for the playoffs. So the decision to shut down Scotty and not play him at the end of last year in Miami, well, I like it. It was good. It was the good right decision at that time. So, yeah. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. And I'm going to do tidbits and information about the schedule here and there. But those were the big 3 red flags to me. There's another one, though, and I'll talk about it. In some ways, I want to talk about the in-season tournament games and how they're placed a little bit more in detail in the next 10 minutes or so. I'll talk about that. Trevor J's in first. Good morning, family. Be happy with what you have, and you will have plenty to be happy about. I like that. In some ways, listen, people can always want, and more, Veruca Salt. But in some ways, it's not worth it. Find a contentment with what you have. And you know what? Your life is very simple and humble and great. And in some ways, if you have something that you really want to go get it. Have dreams and goals and go get it. Don't suffer for it. But also, if there's something that's unattainable, you can't get over it and move past it, and you'll be fine. But yeah, I love that words of wisdom, Trevor J. That's good stuff. And yeah, just have gratitude for what you've got, and well, you'll have a happy life. It's just the damn truth. Leo's life tip today is live like it's the last day you'll ever see him. Jeez. Leo, I hope you haven't gone to the doctor anytime soon. I'm just going to say this. Leo Routens, we love you. God bless you. Long live you and a lot of good health. But yeah, that's someday carpe diem is what they like to say. Live for the day. Don't go out there and get it. I get what you're saying, Leo. I get what you're saying. Trevor's saying, I think we have a pretty good schedule. Not like the last season messed up. Let's get ready to kick some ass. In some ways, we're harmless. In some ways, they don't have to do a schedule hit job on us to try and run us down to the ground. Because in some ways, we're up and coming. We're youthful. And we don't really know totally what we're doing yet as a team collective. So in some ways, they don't have to do a schedule hit job on us this year. So I would say that's part of it. There is some interesting things about the schedule in general. There's a lot of home games in the beginning half of the season. There's a lot of games against top caliber teams at the beginning of the season. And near the end of the season, there's more road games and there's more games against teams like Charlotte and Washington. So a lot of the easy games are at the end of the season once again. It's front loaded with top playoff teams. And right off the bat, the Raptors are thrown to the fire. Our first game of the season will be against Cleveland on October the 23rd. There's a lot of very key Cleveland games this season in the schedule. And then we have the Friday night first game against Philadelphia and Nick Nurse in Toronto. And this will be the first retro 30th anniversary game. I have them designated. I know exactly when these games are. According to the Raptors admin in their release yesterday, they kind of let it be known which games are going to be the flashback games where they celebrate the 30th anniversary. And the very first one will be the first Friday of the season against Philadelphia, where we will probably wear the retro jerseys that day. So, yeah, Nick Nurse, Friday night, October the 25th. And then the very next day, we go on the road. It's the first back-to-back of the season, and we have to play Minnesota in Minnesota. So, yeah, right away, the first back-to-back is a Philadelphia at home 30th anniversary game against the Sixers. And then we get on the road and have to travel to Minnesota and play the Timberwolves the very next day on Saturday. This is reminiscent of what they've been doing to us the last 3 years. The Sixers on the first Friday of the schedule, and then it's a back-to-back where we have to play somebody else somewhere else the next night. It is what it is. Now, I do like how they spread out the Atlantic Division games this year. It seemed like we played all our games against New York and Brooklyn before Christmas the last couple of years. Well, this won't be the case this year. All the Atlantic Division teams, we play at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, and near the end of the season. So they spread most of them out pretty good. So there's none of this crap where we play all our New York games against the Knicks in like a 2-week period around Christmas. That's messed up. That's messed up, NBA. You shouldn't have done shit like that. Now, yeah, that's more on that. Let me keep going in the chat here. Let's see. Trevor J is saying that we have 1 game on ESPN and 3 games on NBA TV. Yeah, once again. Now, I count this as 4 national television games. Now, Josh Lindbergh saying we only have 1 national television game. Yeah, it's ESPN. And, of course, that game is in January against the Knicks because the game on ESPN will be in New York, and it will be RJ and Manuel versus their old team with OG versus his old team. Of course, that's great drama. That's great TV. And, of course, the game that we're going to play on national television is going to be the Knicks just because of that high-profile trade last year. And the Knicks fans want to see their old guys play, and we want to see OG play. So, yeah, the only national televised game will be the Raptors visiting Madison Square Garden in the first week of January. And that game is going to be high stakes. In some ways, that game's kind of weird the way they set it up because it is a part of a back-to-back also. This is a crazy thing. A lot of our key games are part of back-to-back. Now, they have a rule this year where teams that are playing in high-profile national TV games, they're not supposed to be playing back-to-backs, but they're not doing that to the Raptors. Our only national televised game is the first night of a back-to-back. And then the very next night, we have to go to Cleveland and play the Cavs. So we go on January the 8th. We're on ESPN against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. And then we got to travel to Cleveland. At least we don't have to do customs and come back to Toronto. We go to Cleveland, and we play the Cavs the very next day on January the 9th, the Thursday. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's Cleveland games that are really sneakily tough in certain places. And then, like, the Knicks games are interesting, too. So, I'm not totally fond of that whole thing right there. Now, the NBA TV games, a couple of those are Knicks games also. So, they really like the Raptors-Knicks rivalry this year, and it is going to get more blast on the down south and the stateside. And that makes sense. In some ways, they want to show that the Knicks are way better than us in some ways. So they're hoping that is what will happen. I don't know if that is exactly what's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. I have faith in our guys, so they'll look good. Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Dap to you, Cowboy. I heard we got it for 15 straight back-to-backs. I don't mind, but what's your take on it? Yeah, 15 back-to-backs for the whole entire season. And some of them are interesting. Some of them are tougher. In some ways, the travel isn't too demanding as far as like a really crazy back-to-back where I'm like, why are these so like these are back-to-backs? If you want, I'll go over the back-to-backs real quick. If you want, as I said, there's a Philadelphia, Minnesota back-to-back to start the season. In some ways, we got a lot of back-to-backs in the month of November, and they're going to be on Friday, Saturday, which is really, really weird. In some ways, like I don't trust that in some ways that they're putting back-to-backs Friday, Saturday back-to-backs because in some ways the Raptors have not done well on Fridays in the last couple of years. I don't know if they think they're on weekend and they're taking the weekend off. No, when you go to the arena on Friday nights, Raptors, you're going to work. And meanwhile, everybody else can have those vibes that they're off work and they're partying and they're having their weekend because 5 o'clock on Friday passed. But no, you guys are clocking in on the evening on Friday night. And you need to treat it like that, young Raptors. Because seriously, this may be part of the way the NBA is scheduling to manipulate, is that they're going to put a young Raptors team on a bunch of weekend back-to-backs Friday and Saturday. The first one of those is on the 1st of November, we're going to have the Lakers come in. They're going to be one of the first home games. So all you Bron sexuals, you better jump on the tickets quick, because the Bron and Bronny show is going to show up on November 1st, right at the beginning of the season. This game is also a throwback game. This has been designated as one of the 30th anniversary throwback games. Now, these dates that these throwback games are on are not special. They're not dates that they had games against the Lakers and the Sixers in the past. They're just designated throwback dates as designated by the Raptors admin's flashy, amazing schedule release yesterday. Big ups to Raptors admin and the designing of the way they released this with the retro video look and the flashing of the past with the new guys on there. Really, really well done and top-notch stuff by the Raptors. The ESPN had an article about how each team released their schedule yesterday. And in some ways, they didn't give any shine to the Raptors, obviously, because they didn't ignore us. But we honestly had one of the best schedule releases in the whole entire league yesterday. If you ask me, if you look at how they did it, and it's just badass, honestly. So, yeah, that one will be a back-to-back where the Lakers come in on Friday, the 1st of November, to Toronto. It's a new moon day, and then we have to play Sacramento the next day in Toronto also. So there's no travel on that back-to-back. But we have two Western Conference division foes visiting us then. In fact, a lot of the Western teams come through Toronto early in the season. We see most of the Western teams. And the Lakers, those games will be done because we're going to go out west to our big, huge West Coast road trip in November, almost right away in our season. That's why I'm saying, man, this schedule is really front-loaded tough because we have top-level playoff opponents for most of the games, and that we're also taking our long, arduous West Coast trip in the beginning of November. And that's a lot to throw out a young team that's not very seasoned very early in the season. That may be by design, honestly. The next weekend is when we play the Lakers again. And it's a back-to-back, but it's one of those easy LA back-to-backs where we play the Clippers on Friday night, November the 8th, and then we play the Lakers in LA also on Saturday the 9th of November. So that Friday back-to-back is in LA. They better be on top of things. They're going to be tired after that first game, and they need to be getting ready for the Lakers the next night. So, yeah, everybody who's going to see Bronny and Bron versus the Raptors, yeah, you're going to see it all, and it's going to be done by November the 9th, and we won't see the Lakers again for the whole rest of the year. So, yeah, Lakers games coming early and quick in this season coming up. Last year, they came pretty late in the season, so this will be very, very different. Then we have another back-to-back, and this is the one that's screwy to me. This is the one that I'm like, what the F are they doing to us? The in-season tournament will start in the middle of November, and we will play against Milwaukee in Milwaukee after we come back from that West Coast trip. That is fishy as hell to me, Monique. When you think about it, listen, Mo, you know, when we go on our West Coast trip and we come back, sometimes the guys are tired and things are a little bit weird after a long road trip out there. And our big 5-game West Coast trip is coming in the first week of November, right before we play in the in-season tournament. And in fact, the last game of that road trip is in Milwaukee, and it's our first in-season tournament game. So that's fishy as hell to me. In some ways, that's time change. That's all kinds of weird stuff. Those guys might be tired because they've been off the road, and we're expected to play one of our most important regular season games as the 5th game on a long West Coast road trip. It's messed up. We got to go to Denver, Sacramento, the Clippers, and the Lakers, and then we play the Bucks 2 days after the Lakers and the first in-season tournament game. That's fishy. And then it's even crazier. On Friday, we come back to Toronto and we play the second in-season tournament game against the Detroit Pistons. And in some ways, that's a great game. I think we'll do well. I'm going to probably go to that game. But that's the first night of a back-to-back. We have to, this is the thing, and this is psychology. They've got to play the Pistons in an in-season tournament game on a Friday night and then turn around and travel to Boston Saturday night to play the champs. That is psychological. In some ways, they can't get ahead of themselves with the Pistons in the in-season tournament game on Friday night, thinking about the Celtics the next day in Boston. That is something that Dargo, this whole season's got to keep these guys present. He's got to keep them present and in their mind of what they have on their plate right at that time. because they can't be thinking past the Pistons and thinking they're a slouch in that in-season tournament game when they got to face Boston the next night. And they may be thinking about getting on a plane after an in-season tournament game because it's a back-to-back and they got to cross customs. No, Scotty, you guys got to be in the moment. You got to stay present and understand your food on your plate is Detroit Pistons on Friday night, November the 15th in Toronto. And you cannot get ahead of yourself just because you're playing the Celtics in Boston the next night. I'm telling you, that is a big, big weirdness in that. That is one that kind of bugs me because it's easy for our team to get ahead of themselves and start, well, this is the Pistons. I'm not too worried about them, but we got to play Boston tomorrow. But wait, the stakes against the Pistons are the in-season tournament. So don't play with your food. Take care of business against Cade Cunningham and the Pistons on that Friday night. And who cares what happens when you go to Boston? We expect you to not probably win against Boston in Boston. So make sure you win the game you should win against Detroit the night before. That's what I'll say about that right there. Yeah, because and then that's 3 weekends of Friday and Saturday back-to-backs in November. The first 3 weekends of November, 3 back-to-backs on Friday and Saturday in the first 3 weeks of November. That's just how it is. And then, all right, then after that, we're going to go to Indiana. Indiana's going to come here. We'll have the first Pascal Siakam in Toronto game of the season, and it will be a retro game. They will have the retro jerseys against the Pacers on November the 18th. It's a Monday game. And if you want to go see Pascal and you want to see the retro vibes, well, that's a game to go to right there. Then we play Minnesota here on the 21st. And then we have a next back-to-back, which involves Cleveland and Detroit, the 24th and the 25th of November. And they're both on the road, and they both make sense. I mean, we're going to go to Cleveland and play Cleveland on a Sunday. And then on the Monday night, we're going to go to Detroit and play Detroit. That's just a Great Lakes dance, just a little bit around Lake Erie. And go ahead and go and get in there and say hi to Cleveland in Cleveland. And then go see Detroit in Detroit. 2 games in 2 nights. That's not bad. No customs. You could actually take a bus between those 2 games right there. Yeah, New Orleans. We'll go down to New Orleans after that on the 27th of November. And then we have our next in-season tournament game on Friday, November the 29th against the Miami Heat in Miami. So that's a bit of a weird road trip. We have a homestand a little bit against Indiana and Minnesota, and then we're on the road, Cleveland, Detroit, New Orleans, and then Miami right in a row. And that Miami game, once again, is the last game of a road trip. A 4-game road trip. So there's the last game of the 5-game road trip is an in-season tournament game. The last game of a 4-game road trip is an in-season tournament game. That's a little bit like you're on the road for a week, and then you got to play an in-season tournament game. I hope Darko's making sure that the players understand this year which games are in-season tournament games and which ones aren't, and they show up and they play their heart out. Because honestly, y'all need to look at the jerseys and the court. And if this is an in-season tournament game, you can see that. You better play your asses off in this. Because in some ways, there was a game last year where some of y'all were saying we didn't even realize it was an in-season tournament. Y'all better be knowing this year, is what I'm going to say. Yeah, the Miami game's interesting because it is a part of a home and home. We play the in-season tournament game against Miami at the end of November, and then we actually come home and play them again here in Toronto, Miami, in between the last in-season tournament game and the one against Miami. So the Miami Heat, we're going to play them on Friday night, and then we're going to come home. They're going to come with us, and we're going to play them here in Toronto on the Sunday after that, December the 1st. And then we have our final in-season tournament game against the Indiana Pacers here in Toronto on the Tuesday, the December the 3rd. That's fishy to me. The Detroit game before the Boston game is fishy to me. And then the Miami home and home series that's involved with the in-season tournament is a little fishy to me too. So we're just going to see how it goes. Playing in-season tournament games on the end of road trips is crazy. The first one in Milwaukee will be after we play in LA and Sacramento and Denver. And the next one will be a little East Coast road trip down to Miami to play them. So, yeah, these are tests, but these are not horrible tests as far as you guys can handle this. It's just we got to see some maturity from our young core to handle things correctly. And I don't want to see no goofing off, guys. Youngsters like Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter, this is the fire. You're thrown to it. And you better show up and show a maturity. I know you guys will, because I know that you are good young men and great athletes, and you're going to come up and do it right. Because, yeah, this in-season tournament, in some ways, there's some fishy-ass shit the way they scheduled it. It's not, in some ways, I'm going to say I don't really care. Because it's like, what are we going to do? We're going to compete in the in-season tournament? No. The NBA is not going to allow us to do that. as I said yesterday, success to me is winning 2 of the in-season tournament games and improving off of last year just getting 1 win. So it's not like I care about us winning it all. In some ways, if we're going to have some sort of detrimental schedule around the in-season tournament, go ahead and have time now while we're rebuilding and not the top Raptors team that we could be because we're youthful and we're trying to learn. So it's okay to me in some ways, but I'm also pointing out this is the stuff I'm seeing that is a little fishy. Let's put it that way. All right. So, of course, then they'll have the in-season tournament Las Vegas section in the middle of December. And there's 2 games that are not on the schedule for the Raptors. There's only 80 games released yesterday because they have to make 2 games in the middle of the week from December the 10th to December the 19th. There will be 2 games added to our schedule that are unknown right now. And they will be added according to how the in-season tournament goes. So, yeah, there is a game on the 9th in December against the Knicks in Toronto that will be a retro game. So there's another retro game on December the 9th in ACC or Scotiabank. All right, and then this is a really interesting back-to-back. It's right before Christmas. We're going to have a back-to-back where Fred VanVleet and the Houston Rockets will come to Toronto on December the 22nd, Sunday. And that will be a Purple Retro game, a 30th anniversary game. And the day after that, we have to travel over the border and through customs to play the Knicks on a Monday night at New York at Madison Square Garden. And this will be the day before Christmas Eve. So right before Christmas, we have a weird back-to-back where Fred VanVleet's going to come say hi, and we'll have a retro game. And then we'll get on a plane and fly to New York and play OG and the Knicks right before Christmas. So, yeah, that's a tough one because in some ways the Raptors have to go through customs when they go to Boston or New York when they go on these trips. And the NBA knows this. And often we found out last year that those nights, those guys are getting into the hotels at like 2 or 3 in the morning after that's travel schedule. So I hate that. In some ways, that Celtics game after the Pistons in-season tournament game is like that. And this game against the Knicks right before Christmas is like that. It's a disadvantage, and it's tough. Now, we don't have to play on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, but we do have to play on Boxing Day. So the Raptors will have a Boxing Day game this year against the Memphis Grizzlies here in Toronto, or no, in Memphis. We're going to play in Memphis. They'll be on the road. They won't be here. So around Christmas, the Raptors are on the road. They're in New York before Christmas, and then they're in Memphis after. So in some ways, maybe they'll get to do Christmas with their families in the stateside and get to kind of go off and do that. Who knows? But you better be in Memphis for Boxing Day traditional game between the former Canadian team, the Grizzlies, and the current Canadian team, the Raptors. So, yeah, Boxing Day game, Grizzlies, Raptors on Boxing Day, y'all. That's a tradition. Yeah, and then we play Atlanta at home in between New Year's and Boxing Day, and then that crazy New Year's Eve back-to-back I was describing at the top of the show, that Boston Celtics New Year's Eve in Boston, and then we got to come back to Toronto and play the Brooklyn Nets on New Year's Day. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. It's so crazy to me. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, then January is an interesting month of the schedule. We have the most games of the season in the month of January out of any of the months. It's power-packed full of games. There's so many games in January. It's nuts. It is nuts. Now, let me see. Just looking at it real quick, there is another back-to-back where we've got to do New York to Cleveland, which we had to do that earlier already, where we got to do like a New York to Cleveland. This one will be, that's the ESPN one, where we play on ESPN against the Knicks on national television on January the 8th. And then we have to go to Cleveland right afterwards and play Cleveland. So there's no border jumping, similar to the Cleveland-Detroit back-to-back. So that one's not too bad, but I hope, once again, the Raptors don't get ahead of themselves and start thinking about the trip afterwards to go to Cleveland when they're on national television on ESPN for the one time the whole season, and everybody's going to get to see them. In some ways, that national television game is important to get more national television games, because if you suck and you don't look good on it, yeah, they're going to not give you more games next year. So, Scotty, Grady, Jacoby, Jakob, you guys need to play real good against the Knicks on ESPN so that they're going to give us more national television games next year. Because if you're not good TV, they're not going to do that. So, and the Raptors have the least amount of national television games in the Masai era once again. Just one. So it's a tough time like that. Yeah, it's a tough time like that. Let's see what else of note there is going on here. All right. On January the 15th, the Celtics will come to Toronto, and that will be a retro game. So January 15th is the Celtics versus the Raptors retro game. And then on January the 21st, the Orlando Magic will come to Toronto, and that will be a retro game also. So, yeah, I've got them designated. If you want to know when the retro 30th anniversary games are, yeah, I've got a list of them here. Then we have the series where Toronto goes to Atlanta and plays against the Hawks, 2 games, January 23rd and 25th. It's a Thursday, Saturday series. So they're going to get a Friday off in Atlanta. How wild and crazy could it get in Atlanta on a Friday in January? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how crazy you can get. And then at the end of the month, we have a game against the Bulls here in Toronto that will be a retro game. So there's 3 retro games in January, 3 retro games in February. There's a retro game in March, and then there's 2 in December, and I believe there's a few. There's like 2 or 3 in November. There's 10 of them so far that I've counted. 10 retro games. So if you really want to know when those games are, I can tell you. All right, then we get into February, and February is when we're going to honor Vince. Everybody's wondering when the Vince game is. All these casuals, these purple gremlins in the social media comment sections saying, we want purple. Retire his jersey already, you cowards. You idiots. You idiots. You don't even know. You need to be watching me. I'll tell you exactly when the Vince Carter honoring game is, because a lot of them are like, oh, when are you doing Vince Carter? You dumbasses. Masai said when they were going to do it. You just don't listen. He said they're going to do it on the 25th anniversary of his dunk contest win. And that game is February the 13th. February the 12th, sorry. February the 12th, 2025 will be the 25th anniversary of Vince Carter's dunk, and it's against the Cleveland Cavaliers in Toronto. So that will be the big Vince game. That will probably be a purple game, but it has not been totally designated that. Of course, this game is the second night of a back-to-back. Once again, some very important dates for the Raptors are around back-to-backs. We have to play in Philly the night before the Vince Carter game and play Nick Nurse and the Sixers in Philadelphia on February the 11th, Tuesday, and then travel to Toronto for the Wednesday game against the Cavs, and that will be the game where we honor Vince. Now, everybody's saying we're going to retire his jersey. That's not for sure, y'all, so don't get ahead of yourself. It's not for sure. It could happen. In some ways, it might be likely, but I still am holding out just for a statue. Please, Messiah, just give the man a statue. I don't want to see his name up in our rafters. In some ways, he doesn't deserve that. And I will do a whole segment on this coming up. If Raptors fans really don't understand why, I don't think that Vince Carter should get his jersey retired. If you really want me to tell you why, Purple Gremlins, I'll tell you. Yeah, I will. So, yeah, that will be the Vince game. It will be Cleveland on the 12th of February. So get your tickets for that game if you really want to be there for the Vince Carter honoring. Of course, that immediately is right before the All-Star break. And then they will go into the All-Star break. And it's crazy because the All-Star is in Oakland again this year. Well, not Oakland, San Francisco. It's in Golden State, just like it was 25 years ago when Vince won the dunk contest. So I'm fully expecting them to honor him there too, because in some ways that's right around the anniversary also. I love that the Raptors got the date against the Cleveland Cavaliers on the date of the 25th anniversary. They probably requested this. I'm going to tell you right now, Bobby and Masai probably called the NBA office and said, we'd like to have a game on the February the 12th because we want to honor Vince Carter for 25 years since his dunk contest. And the NBA is like, ooh, we love that. Yes, we'll make sure you get a game for that. And they give us the Cavs. And the Cavs are in some really weird games. Like they're the first game of the season. They're involved in some of the weird back-to-backs. And we know that they are a stronger team than they used to be. So in some ways, I hate that we're playing the Cavs because I'd rather have a cream puff. Because in some ways, when Vince Carter gets honored, we want to beat the team we're playing, right? Or is that just going to go with the motif of Vince Carter and his history with us, that we lose on the night of Vince Carter night? I mean, that could be the part of the plan too. I don't know. Scotty, it's up to you, man. Beat the Cavs' ass on February the 12th to honor the Raptor legend, Vince Carter, please. How about that? So we're going to go on All-Star, and then when we come back from All-Star, the Raptors have a homestand. It's a pretty good homestand. We play Miami, Phoenix, and Boston comes in on February the 25th, and that's another retro game. So there's another Boston retro game on February the 25th. And then we go on a road trip. We're going to go to Indiana, Chicago at the end of February, and we're going to have a double dose of Orlando at the beginning of March. And that's the Orlando 3 days that I was talking about. And the day off they get is a Monday. So at least maybe they'll go to Disney World. I don't know. Darko, schedule something fun for the team to do on March the 3rd, Monday, when they're in Orlando and you guys have a day off. Maybe you guys do a practice because you need to get some tightening up at that point in the season. Who knows? But yeah, let's use our time wisely on our little 3-day vacations in Atlanta and Orlando this year, Raptors. Seriously, let's use our time wisely. You don't have to travel, so let's get some rest, rehabilitation, and some good practice in. How about that? How about that? Yeah. Then we go back to Toronto, and we have another nice homestand where Utah visits us. Washington Wizards come in for a 2-game series against us. And this is the same thing as the other way, but reversed. We will be in Toronto. Washington will come in and play us 1 game. Then they'll have a day off, and then we'll play Washington again. So there's a little 2-game series with Washington. I love that one. It's against the Wizards, and we're at home. We don't have to travel anywhere. And in fact, we don't have to travel before or after this trip. Now, to me, that makes it seem like, well, Raptors don't get lackadaisical because you don't have to do no travel. Maybe it's the doldrums of the long season by that time in March, and y'all don't take the Wizards seriously. Y'all better not do that. Y'all better take this game very seriously. And yeah, play the Wizards very well 2 games in a row and beat their ass both times. Because I'm going to tell you right now, those 2 games are probably 2 W's you're going to need to your win total for the season. I'm going to say that right now. So don't take the Washington 3 days in Toronto in March lightly. You're going to need to take those wins against Jonas Valanciunas and the Washington Wizards. So don't mess around with your food on that one either. And then we're going to have Philly come in right after that and play their last game of the season against us for the season. Oh, wait, no, there's one more game against us. But yes, like I said, they're spread out pretty good. Philly at Toronto on March the 12th. And then we go to Utah, and we have our next West Coast trip. The second West Coast trip is only 4 games, and we go to Utah on March the 14th, Portland on the 16th, and then back-to-back. That's kind of a bad travel back-to-back. We play Portland on the 16th, and then we have to go to Phoenix and play Phoenix on the 17th. That's a little bit of a tough travel back-to-back between Portland to Phoenix. It's a long flight, and that one may be a little annoying. So there are some difficult back-to-backs in certain ways. And then we play the Warriors on March the 19th in Golden State. So that little 4-game West Coast road trip, that's the second kind of long road trip. There's 3 West Coast trips, and they're kind of broken up in different ways. There's the big long one at the beginning of November. There's the one that I just talked about in March. And then there's a little short one at the end of the year that we got to kind of collect the last few Western teams that we didn't play in their arena. And it's mostly in Texas. We're going to finish the season in San Antonio. The last game of the season will be the Raptors at the Spurs and Wemby. So let's see what else on this schedule that kind of stands out to me. As I said, a lot of the games against Washington and Charlotte are in the end of the season. So hopefully the Raptors aren't so bad that they're just losing to really shitty teams at the end of the season. Hopefully they built something up. They're competitive. They're playing strong and doing really well. And we get those games late in the season because we've learned a lot through the tough, long season. Yeah. In April, the schedule is looking like this. April 1st, we're going to be in Chicago playing the Bulls. Then we're going to have a home series with, Portland will play us on the 3rd. Detroit will play us on the 4th here. And then we go to Brooklyn and play the Nets on the 6th. And then we finish the season with these 3 games. Charlotte at Toronto on the 9th. And then we go to Texas and we play the Dallas Mavericks at their arena and then the San Antonio Spurs. And that's the season. It's over. That's the season. So we'll be ending the season in Texas this year. I hope that there's no barbecue questions. Yeah, maybe the barbecue questions are about barbecue being so good this year. Yeah, do you like Texas? What do you like about Texas, OG? Just say the barbecue. We like barbecue. That's right. All right. So if there's any questions about what I said about the schedule, I can elaborate a little bit more. There's more to it than just what I said. I may have forgot some of my notes because there's a lot. There's a lot of information there. But you guys can put it in the chat if you want me to clarify anything I just said. If there's anything you want to say about your observations about the schedule, please share it here. This is what we're doing here. We're talking as diehard Raptors fans how we feel about the schedule. And I honestly think it's the best schedule we've had in the last 3 years. It's going to be fun. In some ways, I'm looking at it and I'm like, ooh, this might be really fun. In some ways, it's going to be hard. There's a lot of good teams in the league, and it's not going to be a cakewalk. That's for damn sure. And everything's going to be earned. Trust me. And, we're on the broad shoulders of Scotty Barnes. We'll see how much he can carry us. Along with RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly, the barbecue era will begin. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see. Cowboys saying, I believe the first 4 games will be a great test to start the season. Let's go. Yeah, you look at the first 10 games, and they're all playoff teams for the most part. It's just very much what they've done the last couple of years. They throw us to the fire, and they make us do some crazy back-to-backs, and very high-level teams we're playing right away. And somebody's going to play the Lakers early in the season. They may not have their shit together, and we may not either. And we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see. Yeah. Cowboys saying, hang on, I actually read that one already. Trevor's saying we will start purchasing tickets today, including the 2 back-to-back in LA. There you go, Trevor. You better be our eyes on the site of the scene for the LA games. In fact, the interesting thing is this game used to be in the same arena, but now the Clippers are opening their new arena in Intuitive Dome or whatever, the one with all the bathrooms. The crazy ass, really new arena that they just built, Steve Ballmer. They'll be playing in that arena this year. So even though they're not in the same building, they're the same city, so it still shouldn't be a big deal. The Clippers, Lakers, back to back, coming in November, very early in the season. That's the interesting thing. That West Coast trip is very, very early in the season. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. I love all the comments. I love to see you guys fill it up. Let's see. Cowboys dapping Trevor for getting his tickets. Most saying, good morning, Raptor Free Crew. Do I ever love the schedule this season? The last season. Can anybody figure out why? I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. Why does Mo like this schedule more than last year's? I'm not totally sure exactly. You're going to have to tell me. Mo's saying, anyone notice how we get Cavs for the home opener for the last few years? I'm happy. This has happened a few times. Yeah, we had Minnesota last year, though. Minnesota was our home opener last season, but we have gotten Cavs over the years as one of the first games. The Cavs games are in very key places. Like I said, one of them is the Vince Carter retirement or Vince Carter honoring game. I'm not going to say that. Vince Carter honor game is a Cleveland Cavaliers game. The first game of the season is a Cleveland Cavaliers game. There's a couple of back-to-backs that are all involved with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that's fishy to me. They put them in weird, tough spots. In some ways, there's certain teams in the NBA that they want to gauge the Raptors against, the Knicks, the Cavs, the Celtics. These games are in weird places. They're in weird places. Cowboys saying Cavs are going down. Everyone slam dunk that like button. All right, Bradley, I like what you're saying there. And most saying our guys will be more than ready. I hope so. Nothing's guaranteed. These guys are professionals. They take their job seriously. Leadership from the top with the barbecue guys showing how they want to do it, the standards. Well, that's going to be part of it. Scotty's got to set the standard, what he expects as the leader of this team, and he needs to set the tone himself. And, well, hopefully everybody will fall in line and play the way that he wants them to. In some ways, it's like positive, giving, loving, free-flowing, and working very, very hard. In some ways, like I said, Scotty's a franchise face now. He sets the tone. He sets the leadership. And in some ways, that's what we need. We don't need casualness. We don't need people showing up and not taking shit seriously like Jamal Murray at the Olympics. So we need people to show up and take all this shit very, very seriously. The more we do, the better we will do. And in some ways, that's tough for youngsters who don't necessarily understand the level of how serious you have to take shit to be successful in the NBA and win. Scotty understands winning is hard in the NBA. He said that many, many times. Well, it's hard, but it's very doable if you figure it out, Scott, and you get in the right recipe. That's right. They get that barbecue recipe right. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Cowboys saying, I'm looking forward to playing Zach Edey and the Grizzlies on December the 26th. Yeah, that's a good thing to point out, that when we play the Grizzlies on Boxing Day, that will be young Zach against the Raptors. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Hopefully you'll be healthy. We'll have to see. Bryce is saying, good morning, Lex from Raptor Freaks. I would say the NBA did us a favor, giving us a tough start this season. We get to see what we are made of early, which is also good because it'll set the tone on competitiveness. I like your attitude, Bryce, and I think you're right. I think that they've done this to us the last couple years, and with different measures of results of disrupting our team. Some ways that Nick Nurse last year, we were 50-50 in the very difficult beginning of that season that went really crazy in November and went downhill after we went to Orlando and Miami and had a 2-game series against Orlando where we absolutely sucked. They saw how we fell apart in Orlando, and they've tried to mimic that in the schedule the last 2 years. The 2 games at the end of the season with Miami, we're supposed to be there just in case we were battling for a playoff spot and we could get screwed over at the end. Well, this year they're putting us in Orlando again for another one of those kind of things, but it's in January this time. instead of November. And 2 years ago, it was in Orlando when our season unraveled with Nick Nurse in his last year coaching us. So, yeah, I like the thrown to the fire stuff too. In some ways, it is very designed and to take our enthusiasm and energy from training camp and how we're feeling and make us feel bad right at the beginning by putting so many easy opponents at the end of the year. If we're not in a good place, well, hopefully we will be, and we'll just beat those cream puffs at the end of the year. In some ways, I can evaluate some of the teams as being better than they are. In some ways, that's going to happen. There's teams that seem like they're going to be good this year, but they won't be, whether it's because of injury, whether it's because of dysfunction on their team of some sort. We'll have to see. In some ways, we could look at it all on paper and say, yeah, I don't know. This team may be better than the Raptors. This team may be better than the Raptors, but we don't fucking know. The Cavs may not be better than the Raptors. We have to see how it all goes down. We have to see how it all goes down. Yeah, Bryce is saying, I'm super excited for the Grizzlies in general. They are the second team I'll be keeping an eye on. Ja Morant's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm becoming less and less of a fan of Ja Morant. I want to be a fan of his, but I think he's an idiot. Yeah, I'm going to say that at this point. We'll see what happens with the Grizzlies this year. Most saying, what would call the first 10 games as? What would call the first 10 games as? What do you mean? You mean how many games are going to win? I'm not going to speculate that. I'm not going to do that this year because in some ways I don't want to set some sort of unexpected expectations. These expectations, I don't want to set them like Michael Bartlett. No, I don't. Cowboys saying, let's go New Year's. Yeah, New Year's is going to be weird. Yeah, those Raptors are not going to be able to do New Year's the correct way. In some ways, they're going to be on a plane when they do New Year's, and that's just going to be how it is. That's just going to be how it is. Kareem saying, I don't like the tough schedule at the beginning of the season. I prefer the build of confidence with our young core to help set the tone for the rest of the season, but that's me being pessimistic. In some ways, that's what bugs me too, Kareem. But I also see what Bryce is saying. Get them tested right away, and well, it's the NBA, Jamal Shed, Ulrich Shamshay, Jacoby Walter. This is what it's all about. You'll find out real quick in some ways. Yeah, Seymour saying, all I know is I'm all in. Let's effing go, Raptors. There you go. Seymour Pape is committed to cheering on his favorite team, the Toronto Raptors, and we're going to give him a dunk for it. 116 dunks for Seymour. He's just pledged his allegiance. That's right. Trevor saying they can go to the underground and hang out. You talking about in Atlanta when they come up to the Hawks, go to the underground? Is the underground in Atlanta or is the underground in Orlando? All I'm saying is just be productive and don't fall for the weird shit of Orlando's cheesy ass downtown or Atlanta's weird seedy women. I would just say that. Atlanta's weird seedy women. All right, Fiercey saying good morning, fam, and happy Friday. Good morning to you, Fiercey. I'm wondering if you're back from Jamaica. Back from your wedding trip to go to your best friend's wedding down there. Hi, Candy. Hi. Are you back? That's what we're wondering. Seymour saying hugs and daps. Yeah, daps to you, my guy. And Tobias is here. Good to see Tobias Frost. The Raptors getting interviews with USA Sports Media now. That's funny. As if it'll happen. The U.S. media don't like or give any respect to the Raps. This isn't totally true, actually. I'm going to say this. Atlanta is a hub. Well, at least it is for this season. Afterwards, I don't know what's going to happen once Turner's gone. But this has happened in the past. Emmanuel's been in a studio quite a bit in the last years, even since he's become a Raptor. He goes in and he does like ESPN or NBA TV. I could very much see that time while we're in Atlanta, somebody from the Raptors going into the TNT studio and sitting with some bigwigs as a guest panelist. Who knows who it could be? I don't think it'll be Scotty, but I could see it being Emmanuel again. Or maybe even Grady Dick. That could be very interesting to see. We'll see. They do actually invite us in to do some of this kind of stuff at times. But you're right, Tobias. Most of the time, it's not like that. But, Emmanuel probably will get invited in there. He seems to get these invites to come in and do guest spots on shows. He's done them. He's done them a lot just in the little bit of time. He hasn't been a Raptor for a year. And I've seen him in a lot of studios as a guest. Toronto Raptors point guard Emmanuel Quickley. Yeah, he's the one I think will most likely do it. RJ could do it too, to be honest. I don't think Scott likes doing that kind of shit. So you won't see Scotty do it probably. Tommy's here. Good to see Tommy Dookie, my West Coast producer, hanging out in the Victoria, BC, holding it down for the channel. You see all the little emoticons. You see how he's got Masai Ujiri in his chat right there. That's because he put it there because he's a producer of this channel and he helps me with the emoticons. Masai is all about winning. Let's go get it. That's right. That's right. This is the challenge. Let's go get it. I'm seeing it now. I love it. We got our schedule Now we know how to plan our lives. Monique always lamenting this around this time of year. It's like, I just want to know when I'm going to a game again. Well, she knows, and she's smiling big about it. She knows now. That's right. Good morning. How well players get called up on a rotation almost. We used more players last year than most other NBA teams. Well, a lot of that was only because Scott got hurt, and the same with Jakob. I don't want to call up as many guys from 905 this year. I really don't, because that's a sign that we've had injury issues. So, yeah, let's keep everybody healthy this year, knock on wood. And we'll go ahead and see how many people get called up this year. But in some ways, I don't totally agree with calling up guys from 905 either. I want to call up guys, the best guys from the G League overall. And if that's a guy who's on another team, in some ways, it was nice to call up 905ers, but in some ways, that was them giving extended tryouts to see who may be keepers for next year. And a lot of them weren't, because they ain't around at this point, are they? No, they're not. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Some of those guys that got called up from 905 last year, I'm glad they're gone. I'm not going to lie. They embarrassed us at the end of the season. Some of those guys. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, Cowboys saying Tobias. So true. So true. I don't think it's totally true. They like to put maybe a Raptor here and there as a studio guest. And sometimes they do that. They do. Fiercely saying, no, Seymour, still in Jamaica, enjoying the catamaran excursions, beach, and it looks like a nice mixed drink. Watching the stream while having breakfast. There you go. Maybe somebody, I'm going to shout out whoever's there in Jamaica with my good friend MJ. You have a blessed and a great day from the Raptor Freak Nation up here in Toronto. Worldwide, baby. We love the Raptors, and we hope you love them too. You should become Raptors fans, Jamaican people that are anywhere near MJ right now. That's right. That's what I'm saying right there. Cowboy saying, that's how you do it, Eye Candy. Alley oop, let's go. There you go. She's living that life. She's got that Trevor J life right now. Living on the beach and living the good things in life. We're going to give her 2 dunks. 180 for Fiercey. That's her total now. Yeah, we're going to give her 2 dunks because she's living 2 great lives right now. 2 lives. Very, very happy life with the Raptor Freak stream and also the life of Jamaica right now. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying, I will do my utmost best to purchase tickets for at least 2 games. Finger crossed, my daughter's school schedule makes sense for us to come watch our Raptors. So you come to Toronto, because I saw you trying to get the Bell Center tickets for preseason Montreal versus Washington Wizards, and you were like, oh, these prices are crazy. Yeah, come to Toronto, MJ. And when you do, let us know when it will be, and we will do the hangout with you in person. We'd love to meet you in person. We'll get all the Raptor Freaks in Toronto together, and we will do one for you specifically coming to town. So if you get it organized and arranged, when you're going to come to Toronto, which games, we will get a get-together together for sure. Yeah, Cool Cat saying good morning. Good morning to Coach Cool Cat. Our schedule seems tough at the beginning. Rough seeing we have new players that need to adjust to each other. Bummer. I'll go to all the alumni games this year. So she's pledging she's going to go to every single one of our 30th anniversary games. Well, that's going to be cool. Yeah, the first one, it's looking like it's going to be the Lakers on November the 1st. That Lakers game against LeBron and them. And I looked it up. These dates are not special dates in the history. Like, this isn't like November 1st, the Raptors played the Lakers, and this is what happened. No. That the Vince one is. But these games are not special dates with that particular opponent, just so y'all know. I went and looked at the Raptors history, and there is no special game that happened on a November 1st with the Lakers that we're commemorating. In some ways, we're just doing the throwback games on those days. Yeah, and everybody who thought we're doing a full rebrand, you're idiots. I'll say that once again, Purple Gremlins. Whoever thought we were doing a full purple rebrand, you're dumbasses. And if you don't like that I said that, well, you're young and you're casual. And just get over yourself, Purple Gremlins. You get your purple jerseys. It's just that they're not going to be worn every single 41 home games. Seriously, we're going to wear red most of the games. We're going to wear red 31 of those games. And 10 of those games, they'll wear purple. How about that? That's the deal. That's what we brokered, and we struck the brokerage of the deal. All right, there you go. All right, Fiercely saying hey to Cowboy. Cowboy saying, Buttface, you going down. First. Oh, yeah, that's the first purple game, actually, is the Philadelphia game. The second game of the season will be the first 30th anniversary game against Nick Nurse. And I hope we're not honoring him. Let's not honor the opponent this year, Raptors in-game ops. Let's stop doing this. Just because people are on Team Canada, just because they used to be a Raptor, let's stop doing this. We honored Fred last year. We honored OG and Pascal last year when they came back. I think we didn't honor OG because he was hurt. But we probably do need to honor OG at some point this year. But we've honored Pascal and Fred. We've honored Lowry. We don't need to keep honoring our former Raptors every single time they come in. Seriously. So maybe this year, maybe honor the very old stuff. Like if Terrence Ross is sitting in the front row, a former slam dunk champion of the Raptors, go ahead and honor Terrence. But let's not honor the ops that are actually still active in the game. They're coming in here. Yeah, DR DeRozan. That's all I have to say on that. That's right. Fiercely say it's so strategic in showcasing us versus the Knicks on national television. Yeah, and they got it on a back-to-back. They're saying that they didn't want to make any teams have to do big, important national television games involved in back-to-backs. Well, they didn't think about that for the Raptors. They may have did that for everybody else, like the Celtics and the Lakers. They didn't do that for us. And maybe they're like, well, you guys only have one national television game. And in some ways, we don't care. You got to play it on a back-to-back. Okay, so it's like you said that you were trying to do this for all the league, but you're not going to do it for the Canadian team. All right, that's just normal. That's just normal right there. That's just normal. Yeah. Let's see. Brian's here. Brian, to the point. I watched your clip on RJ Barrett yesterday. Man, I'm not impressed with Captain Kirk. Let's just put it that way, Brian. I'm not impressed with Captain Kirk. He doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about. In some ways, he's like, this is the one thing that really bugged me that he said, other than the stuff he said about RJ was really stupid, is he said something about Chris Boucher not being on Team Canada. He's like, why didn't Chris Boucher choose to be on Team Canada? They must be really weird. I'm like, dude, you just don't know what you're talking about. Captain Kirk, you go ahead and hyperdrive right on out to go where no man has gone before, because your takes are like that. Seriously. Brian, yeah, that dude was not good. That dude was not good. I'm just going to say that. What's up, Freak Nation? I'll be at the opener. What about y'all? There you go. Brian's already penciled in. He's going to be there for Cleveland on the opening game. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be there for the opener. I usually go the first preseason game in Toronto, so I'll probably be at that game. But we'll see. I don't know which games I'm going to go to exactly. Sometimes that's not totally determined by me. Let's just put it that way. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Brian, I commend you for going on the opening day. Smooth saying, hey, y'all, my sister graduated from medical school yesterday. Really excited for the next chapter. That's fantastic, Smooth. That's awesome. Congratulations to your sister becoming a doctor. That's awesome. That is so cool. That's a big accomplishment. And that's fantastic, man. That's awesome, man. Dap to Brian from Cowboy. Cowboy's been frequenting the To The Point channel. I've seen him over there. And Brian, thank you for doing all the shout outs to Freak Nation. Yeah, we're freaking out here. The freaks come out in the morning. The freaks come out in the morning. The freaks come out. That's right. G saying congrats to your sister, Smooth. That's right. Congrats. That's a huge accomplishment. That's a lot of time and money invested. And well, let's see the payoff now. And let's help lives. Let's do great work as a humanitarian and as a doctor. Man, I'm so proud of your sister, Smooth. I am too. Yeah. Brian saying alley-oop to Cowboy for supporting To The Point. Yeah. I told you, my people, you love the Raptors. You do Raptor stuff. My people will come and see you. The freaks will come out in the morning and say hi to The Point. So, Cowboy, you're getting a dunk from Brian here. So we're at 93, the year I graduated from high school. I'm old. Cowboy saying big ups to your sis, Smooth. Congrats. Yeah, that's very cool. That's a big accomplishment. And Smooth saying, I'm very emotional about it. I'm so proud. Awesome, man. That's so awesome, man. Cherish this. And definitely do something nice for your sister to show your appreciation for her accomplishment. Andrew's here. Raptor Freak Andrew's in the house. This guy is one of my favorite Raptor Freaks recently. This guy's awesome. Good morning, folks. 51 days. All right, here we go. The countdown. 51 days until we play our first preseason game. Let's go, Andrew. Isn't it so much more hype when it's tangible? The schedule's in front of you. You can actually look at it and you can kind of pre-visualize yourself. Oh, this is what's going to be going on around Christmas. I'm going to try and go to this game, and I'm going to try and go to this game. And yeah, it's fun when the schedule comes out. In some ways, it is like a Christmas day for a person like Monique, the superfan Lawrence. It really, really is. And I'm feeling it too. I'm feeling the excitement. All these games in front of me, I'm looking at it. And I'm like, man, I got a lot of ref reports to do. I'm going to have to do a lot of previews this season. And I will be here every single day, the whole season long, doing previews and reactions to all these games that we're talking about today, where we will set you up the morning of the games with all the pertinent information that a Raptor fan needs to know about the opponent that we're playing tonight, the referees and everything in all the settings. And then, of course, our glorious, great, fun reactions the day after, where you guys get to talk about the game the night before, and we go over, plays and different things that happened in the game that we liked and didn't like, and maybe even critique a little bit why the Raptors were successful or were not. So, yeah, that's all the fun. The stars of the game, all the old segments that I do for the previews and the reactions will be back this season, of course. The ref report, forever undefeated. We will have the ref report next year for sure, guys. You know I will. That's right. That's right. Let's go. Fiercely saying, Lex, I know you focus on the Raptors, but did you notice a certain level of equity in terms of other teams with multiple back-to-backs, traveling schedules, etc.? Missed the first few minutes. Not sure you mentioned. Fiercely, I'm going to say I have not looked at anybody else's schedule in the least. I really wanted to focus mainly on ours, and so I can really, really pinpoint and talk about it in depth like I did at the beginning of the stream. But no, I haven't. In some ways, I look at the Celtics schedule is like the best one to gauge things against as an Atlantic Division opponent, the champions, and also in some ways they get all the very good pieces of meat and good things happen to them. The NBA likes to set them up. So in some ways, maybe I will go look at the Celtics schedule in the next couple of days and do a little bit of comparison. But right now, I've only looked at the Raptors schedule, so I cannot tell you for sure. Kenny's here. Congratulations to Smooth. Good to see our friend Kenny holding it down in Africa. I believe Kenny is in Africa, and it's very, very good to have the Raptor Freaks nationwide, all around the world. That's right. Kenny, I hope you've been doing really good, man. Fiercely saying, congratulations to your sister. Yeah, I love that we're celebrating Smooth's sister for medical school graduation. There you go. Most saying Andrew is me right now. See, she's hyped too. I told you, Monique is like, seriously, she's like, you remember when you're a kid and you got all those toys around Christmas, or you just had you know how magical Christmas was back then. Well, this is the time of year where Monique gets a little bit like that. That's right. It's a little bit magical when the season schedule comes out. Most saying, thanks for all the kind words. Appreciate them so much. Hey, listen, we're a family. And in some ways, your family has had an accomplishment recently, and we love to hear about it. It's fantastic stuff. And yeah, we have a lot of kudos for you and your sister right now. Definitely for your sister. Alley-oop to Smooth. All right. Cowboy wants to give an alley-oop to Smooth. I love hearing this kind of stuff because I know it's very hard work his sister did, and we need more good doctors out there. And her being added to the list is awesome. 29 dunks for Smooth Brown, man. Look at that. There you go. There you go. Andrew saying at Mo, I can't get here fast. I can't get here fast enough. He's counting it down. That was Monique's job before, but Andrew wants that job. He's counting it down this year for us. It's awesome. Yeah, Fiercey's got the doctor stethoscope out, and there she goes. Fiercey's got Smooth sister there. That's awesome. Mo saying so fishy, Lex. Slow. I laugh out loud. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I can point out the little fishy stuff. I can see it at the beginning of the schedule. And I mean, so it's not as egregious as some of the really crazy stuff that they've had the Raptors do because the schedule makers. In some ways, I won't say that there's very much scheduling hit jobs that Detroit in-season tournament game could end up being. I'm going to say this right now. If the Raptors lose the in-season tournament game against the Pistons, it's because they were looking forward to Boston too much the next night. I'm going to say that right now. So don't play with your food. Don't get ahead of yourself. Play the team you're scheduled to play the night before. This may be a theme I'm going to say to the Raptors all year long. Don't get ahead of yourself. You got a back-to-back right now, and the second game of the back-to-back may be overshadowing the first game of the back-to-back, but don't get ahead of yourself. You need to take care of the first team you got to play. And don't get ahead of yourself and start thinking about the champs of Boston the night after the Detroit Pistons in-season tournament game on that Friday. I'm telling you right now, that's the biggest one right there, Raptors. Don't screw around. That in-season tournament game is important. It's an 82-game season scheduled game, and it's also an in-season tournament game, and it's a team that you lost to last year in a humiliating way the day that OG Anunoby was traded, and you do not deserve to lose to the Pistons this year. You do not. You need to sweep the Pistons this year. I'm telling you right now, they don't have Monty Williams anymore, and their coaching is going to be and their team's going to be and we don't need to be losing to Detroit this year in any kind of game, anytime, whether it's in-season tournament or not. No losing to the Pistons this year. God damn it. We have to have some sort of standards. There has to be at least one team in the East that's below us, and it probably will be either the Pistons, the Nets, or the Hornets, or the Wizards. And those four teams, we need to beat all four of them very consistently this year. I'm sorry, Raptors. In some ways, we have to have some sort of standards of winning, even if we're not one of the better teams in the league right now. I will not stand for y'all to be losing against the Wizards, the Hornets, the Pistons, and the Nets this year. You need to beat all of them and beat them consistently this year. That's what I'm saying. There's a rant right there, freaking out on a Friday. That's right. That's right. Cowboy saying, I'm going to start going to bed earlier to make the 51 days go faster. That's one strategy. Yeah, that's sound logic. That's sound logic right there. Seymour saying, damn, Fiercey, living it up in Jamaica. Yeah, she's there. This isn't like a 2-day wedding trip. No, she took a real vacation while she's down there. That's right. That's right. Kick your feet up. That's right. Dunk for Cowboy. All right, we'll give Cowboy another dunk. He's always so giving with the dunks himself. We better get some dunks out there for Cowboys sometimes. 1994. That's right. There you go. The year was 94. The Raptors did not exist yet, but 30 years later, they will be here now at the Raptor Freak channel. Mwahaha. There we go. All right, let's see. Cowboys saying Ottawa is probably like, where is Fiercey? Is she coming back? They're worried about her. No, they're not. She's been traveling all over the place. She was out west earlier this summer already, too, out in the western provinces. And now she's down in Jamaica. Well, MJ's got that charm life. She's living that Trevor J, jet flying, styling, and profiling Ric Flair lifestyle. That's right. That's what's going on there. Yeah. Respect to Brian. Keep up the good work. Yeah. I'm excited to get on the show with Coach Roach for the season preview on To The Point. I will be guesting on that channel at some point. You'll hear my crazy ass voice on that channel very soon. Once again, I think I've been on Brian's show about 4 or 5 times at this point over the last 3 or 4 years. I think I've been on his show about 4 or 5 times. So come in and do my annual visit on To The Point sometime in the next month or so. I'll come in there and do it probably. Yeah, let's see. Seymour saying, did Lex say this is the best schedule we've had? Because I ain't heard nothing good about the schedule yet. Laugh out loud. Tough fight ahead. I'm not saying it's the best schedule we've ever had in the history of the Raptors. I'll say it's the best schedule we've had in the last 3 years, though. It's better than last year's schedule, and it's better than the year before. Let's just put it that way. So that's what I'll say. Now, I was only pointing out the weird stuff. Most of it's really good. Most of it's like the thing I like about it is there's a lot of very spread out stuff that makes sense. And the other thing is the travel between the cities makes sense. There's none of this weird shit. We have to go to Houston, and then we got to go to Brooklyn, and then we got to go to Dallas, something shit like that. They were doing weird things like that. All the travel makes sense. And some of it's very easy travel. Like I said, the biggest problem is Portland to Phoenix out west on the second West Coast road trip. We got to play one night in Portland, and then the very next night we got to go to Phoenix and play there. That's a pretty wide distance to travel overnight for a back-to-back. But that's probably the worst one as far as travel distance. Most of the rest of the back-to-backs are very close and easy to do, whether it's Toronto to New York or Toronto to Boston or Boston to Cleveland or Cleveland to Detroit, that kind of stuff. Cowboys saying Raptors are going to knock you out. Darko said knock you out. All right, you want to do an LL Cool J, Weird Al Yankovic parody? We can do this. Raptors going to knock you out. Darko said knock you out. So he said, I can't lie, though. I want the Raptors to speed up this rebuild. I can't do this longer than 1 year. Listen, Smooth, it's going to be at least 3 years first, but we're going to do it quicker than most people. Trust me. Just let it happen naturally the way it is. In some ways, we can't get impatient with this. Did your sister get impatient with medical school? No, she had to do everything in the right order, in the right way to get to the point where she is today. And in some ways, that goal is part of the process. And getting through the process is part of it. And we just need to enjoy the trip and the ride. And maybe we don't get as many W's as we'd like, but we're going to be working towards getting more and more W's in time, over time. So, yeah, we got to be patient, Smooth. And in some ways, I can't tell you it's going to take a year. I'm going to tell you for sure it's going to take a couple years at least. Yeah, Tom Duke's got that barbecue yak and Dick. Is that what you want to put in there? Cool Cat saying the amount of U.S. national games could increase if we're doing good. This is usually how it works. This is true. This is true by Cool Cat. It's not likely for us, but if we do make some noise and we're entertaining to watch, who knows? Barbecue could be really fun to watch. This could happen by the end of the year. We could pick up a national televised game somewhere, but I don't think it's likely, Cool Cat. I'm going to say that. Seymour saying starting 5 all positions, point guard, shooting guard. I can name 4. I'm not sure of our starting lineup. Well, yeah, we know the 4 of them. It's Emmanuel at point guard, RJ Barrett at small forward, Scotty Barnes at power forward, and Jakob Poeltl at center. And, well, there's 5 guys that could be the number 2, and that's Grady Dick, Bruce Brown, Oshai Abaji, Jacoby Walter, and maybe even Davion Mitchell. Those 5 guys, I think, are the top 5 candidates to start with the other guys. Now, there could be a new acquisition that happens before the season happens, and that could be somebody who's involved in the mix also. So it's not totally clear the 5th starter, and it shouldn't be. In some ways, we need to have a carrot in front of all the guys dangling. They say, you really want to start? Well, come into training camp and earn it, and you can start with barbecue yak. Yeah, if you do that, yeah. Yeah, congrats to your sister, Smooth. From David, dapping in. All right, he's dapping in at 10:01. So we're gonna go ahead and do the classic card. We forgot to do it yesterday. Oh my gosh, I got off the air and I'm like, holy shit, we didn't do the classic card yesterday. So there was no classic card yesterday because David didn't show up and I totally forgot to do it. So it is what it is. That'll be the infamous day that we didn't do a classic card. There you go. That'll just be that one. Oh, this is a fun card because this is a jersey card. Once again, guys, sometimes we get these jersey cards where they have game worn jerseys in the card, and this one is one of those. Who is that? I don't even know who this player is. So this is going to be weird. I don't know. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, this guy did not play in the league for very long. And I don't even know if this picture is the right picture to show him, but we'll do it. All right, we'll do it. All right, this is a jersey, a game worn jersey card, and it's weird. It's weird. Who is that, guys? Who is that? You can see the team and you can see the jersey in the corner there. Who is that, guys? I'm covering his name on the side here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna do 2. Do you really want me to do 2, Trevor? You are the commissioner of fun, and you are the one. You do have some commissioning. All right, you want me to do 2? I'll do one now, and I'll do one in just a little bit, because I don't want to do them back to back. He looks like a baseball player. Yeah, he does. Neo? No, it's not Neo. Zion Williamson is not a bad guess. It's weird. It's a weird card. Like he's Clarence Weatherspoon. No, guys, look at the team. He's Cav. Maybe I should show you guys the back of the card. In the picture, may be easier. He looks weird, man. Like, what is going on with this guy? Like, what is going on with him? But there's a game worn jersey. Yeah, who is that, man? I'm gonna say he's not a very well known NBA player, and I don't even know how long he stuck around. So it's kind of weird that there's a game worn jersey here. Let me see if I got a good clue that I could make here. His last name is the same last name as the woman who played the Bionic Woman. Huh? Yeah, old heads will know that one. Her last name is the same. His last name is the same last name as the woman who played the Bionic Woman on the old TV show. You know, there's $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman. So if you know her last name, the actress, you will know his last name because they have the same last name. And that's probably the best clue I can give you. I can try and do a clue on his first name, but that may be a little tough. So yeah, does anybody know who played the Bionic Woman on the old 70s TV show that was a spinoff of the $6 Million Man with Steve Austin, starring Lee Majors? Okay, that's kind of right, Seymour. You're close. You got the last name. You're really, really close, but that's not the first name. That's not the way you spell the first name. In some ways, I'll be a stickler. You got the right first. There we go. Andrew's going to get it. Andrew got it exactly right. Is DeJuan Wagner. And that is a DeJuan Wagner jersey card. I don't know. Is that appealing to anyone? Do you want a game-worn jersey of DeJuan Wagner? DeJuan Wagner is right. Andrew's in there first, it looks like. He did spell it correctly. It was D-A-J-U-A-N, Wagner. 200 points for Andrew. Raptor Freak Andrew getting the classic card of DeJuan Wagner, the classic card with a classic jersey, game-worn jersey. Yeah. I wonder if it smells. No, it doesn't smell that bad. It's game worn. But yeah, there you go. DeJuan Wagner. There's your classic card. First classic card. We're going to make up for the one yesterday. There you go, Andrew. Good job jumping in there and stealing it in the middle there. Yeah, yeah. We are being sticklers right now for spelling and also getting the name exactly right. Dion Wagner. I think you were getting mixed up with some of the Dions that are in the league, stuff like that. It is what it is. It's all good. It's for fun, guys. It's for fun. Let's not get too upset about it. Let's see. Where are we? All right. Seymour saying Yak, SB4, RJ, IQ, and mystery fifth starter. Yeah. Andrew saying I'm down to start Grady, to be honest. I think he's a very high candidate. You know, what we'll do is before the season, we'll do like a Thursday think tank where we think who should be the starter with Barbecue Yak. And we'll do like maybe a rankings and we'll do a little bit of think tanking. It may have to do a lot with performance in preseason games. And it may have to do with who's showing what they're doing in training camp. Some of the guys will show up and they'll have to show off what they've learned this summer and the progress and development that they've had. And depending on who's had the leaps and bounds, or maybe who's working well in chemistry with the Barbecue Yak, will get that fifth starter spot. But I think Grady, if I'm doing a power rankings of who's likely to be the fifth starter, Grady may be number one on the list. He could very well be the top candidate to be the fifth starter for the Raptors this year. Yeah. David's saying he'll be starting. He thinks he would be. Cowboys saying Raptors are going to do great this season. I love your optimism, and I hope you're right. I really do. And I say doing great is different in different people's eyes. It may be win-loss percentage for some people, but for me, it's progress. And that's what I want to see. I think they'll be doing great even if they lose, as long as they're showing steady progress and getting better and better and connecting better and getting closer and closer to figuring out the formula to win NBA games. That is the most important thing, guys, right now, is that youngsters have to learn the NBA game and learn what it takes to win and have time, trials, and tribulations. They're going to have failure. They're going to have games as a young team where they might have won if they had Fred VanVleet before, but they're not going to because they don't know how to do it because they don't have the treasure map anymore, Goonies. They don't know how to get to the treasure in the pirate ship on Goonies. Then Fred used to have that treasure map, and he's using that treasure map to help the Rockets win now. So in some ways, that's something we're going to have to learn, is we're going to have to learn how to win again and develop a new treasure map on how to get there. That's right. David's saying we're going to make the playoffs. I hope so. There's no guarantees on anything. He said playing at least. Okay, I hope so. We have to for Scotty's sake. I don't know if we have to for Scotty's sake. He's locked in long term. It's not like Scott's going to get upset if we lose this year. He understands what's going on. It's not like he's an idiot and he's like, oh, this is stupid. No, we're rebuilding this team around him, and he's honored by that. In some ways, he understands. He has a bigger focus than just a very shallow thinker. Scotty's smart. He understands that this is not going to be a process that happens overnight. So his IQ is going to be fine on this because he knows he's playing with IQ and that they're going to grow together and they're going to get better and better together. So in some ways, he understands also the responsibility for the Raptors to get better is mostly on his shoulders as the franchise face. So, yeah, we don't have to win for Scotty's sake. He understands where we're at, and he's very mature. And in some ways, he's locked in with us till 2029. So what the fuck is he going to do? Is he going to get all mad because we're losing and say, I got to leave? No, he's not, because he's a loyal guy. He's a good person. So, yeah, let's, that's what I'd say to that. And Seymour's saying 100%. Cowboys saying, I'm down to start Grady also, then have Brown out there with some of the rookies on the bench. Yeah, that could likely be it. Bruce Brown is a steady veteran force that could be out there to steady the second day rookies that we got this year. Yeah. Seymour saying Grady. Okay. It's likely because he did start a lot of the games at the end of the season, and he is familiar with those guys. He has time accrued with them, so there's chemistry already built up. And he wasn't a bad starter. Even though we weren't winning, he was very solid in very shitty play. Trust me. Mohamed Gay, Javon Freeman, Liberty, those guys were making us look bad. Seriously. And Grady looked good even amongst like the really bad play of other guys that were playing around him at the end of the year. In some ways, that says a lot about him right there. Yeah. Andrew's saying, what do y'all predict Jacoby's rookie stat line? I'm guessing 7, 2, and 2. Wow. I mean, I think that may be low, honestly. I hope he can get like 9 or 10 points a game. He is supposed to be a scorer. And then the other ones, I think he can do better than those two. I think that he can be like a 10, 4, and 4. A 10, 4, and 4 instead is what I'd like to see him get, Andrew. That may be a little low. We'll just have to see. In some ways, Jacoby is a big question mark, but he could really help us a lot if he does get going and he gets some sort of vibes. He gets his mojo going. He feels good. He starts shooting those crazy step back threes, and he starts attacking the rim, and he's getting maybe some transition baskets from a good steal. Yeah, we could see Jacoby be very surprising. In Summer League, we didn't really even see him scratch the surface. In the first couple games, he was just getting his feet under him. He had a really good game at one point near the end of Summer League. But I'm telling you, there's a lot more to him. He should have been a top 10 pick, and people are going to see why. Quantum's here. Good to see Quantum back. Boss taking charge. I love, this is his company. That's why it's called Quantum Boss Taking Charge, Prevent Dying Too Early. This is very much a health-conscious person here. We the North, baby. That's right. Solidarity with you, Quantum, and you coming in and pledging your allegiance to Raptors. We're going to go ahead and give you a dunk, my guy. Quantum's getting back on the dunk list. He's got 6 now. 6, the Corey Joseph 6. There you go. 6 and the 6. 6 that plays for the 6. Seymour saying, Andrew, that sounds about right. I don't know. I think it's a little higher than that, guys. I think he's a little under. Seriously. David thinks 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists for Jacoby Walter. Yeah, that's assists will depend on, like, if he's buying into Darko's system and not being a black hole on offense. We don't want you to just come in and be a new Gary Trent Jr., Jacoby Walter. So keep that ball moving around, and let's see you get some assists this year, is what I want to say too. Yeah. Seymour saying 4 rebounds or assists. I think 4, it's usually rebounds is a second number. So 4 rebounds. David's saying we're going to be on fire next year. All these young guys are going to be draining their buckets, and everybody will be shocked. We will be winning games. It's not that hard. Just play well and hit buckets. I wish it was that easy, David. I mean, that's all real easy to say. But the NBA is very hard. And these teams are seasoned. A lot of these teams have been together a while. A lot of these teams have Hall of Famers on them. And in some ways, we're rebuilding. And man, that's so much easier said than done. I mean, seriously, you can't just say this. I love for them to hit all their shots and for us to be successful, but we can't say that's for sure. Andrew said, I wonder how much run Mobo is going to get with the big boys. And David says 0. I don't think that's true. Mobo's best friends with Scott. So there's going to definitely be time where they're going to want to test Scotty out there with Jonathan. And that will happen. That will happen. And it may be that Jonathan comes out and he plays with Scotty for like a couple minutes and he gets in foul trouble and he has to go sit down. But I'm going to bet you money that Mobo will get time on the big squad and early. The pattern usually in Raptor seasons is, whether it was Nick Nurse before, I don't have as much to gauge with Darko being his only second year coming up, is that, you play a lot of your young players early in the season to give them a test. But if they don't do well and they're not playing consistently, then they kind of go to the bench and they don't play. So we should expect to see a first look NBA debuts for most of our rookies at the beginning of the year. You would probably see Jamal Shed, Ulrich Shamshay, Brandon Carlson, Jacoby Walter, and Jonathan Mobo all get their NBA debuts in the first couple weeks of the season. And then after that, maybe they're not in the rotation. Maybe some of them are going to 905. All that kind of stuff will happen that way. That's usually the case. They'll get their NBA debuts out of the way, and we'll get a first look at them. And if they are badasses right away, well, they can stick around and maybe continue to be in the rotation. But if they are needing a lot of work and they're needing some more polish, well, 905. You're heading to Mississauga to see Coach Andrew Jones. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some of those guys need to be there. Shamshay, definitely. I would say Mobo, definitely. Carlson will be good for both teams, and that's why he's a two-way. Jamal Shed, let him go down there and be Fred VanVleet and run that 905 team like Marquise Noel was doing last year, and let him be the point guard down there and get his team leader, team captain kind of like leading the point guard, kind of Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet vibe going down there. Because he's not going to get to do that on the top level with Emmanuel around so much. And we do have Davion Mitchell as a backup point guard. So Shed needs to have his own show in Mississauga. And in some ways, he's destined to be on the 905 a lot this year, guys. He is very much. Yeah, cohesiveness is the key. We need to get these guys more gelling in the chemistry through reps. That's right. Tommy's got the plates out. That's right. The ref report. We want to feed those refs this season. We know that Kevin Scott loves that cheese pizza. That's right. We got to get the croakers for Tony Brothers. Tony Brothers wants some croakers out of the Mississippi River. Old Man River. Go down there and get some croakers out of there. You guys know what croakers are? They're not frogs. They're fish. And that's the favorite dish of our good friend Tony Brothers, one of the longtime NBA refs. One of the ones I like. A lot of people don't like Tony Brothers, but I like Tony Brothers. And yeah, we'll have the ref report back again. Yes, 3 wins in a row to start the season sounds good. That'd be great. That'd be great. Nothing's guaranteed. We got to go out and earn every little bit of it. That's right. Andrew saying the 905 is going to be nice this year. Honestly, I would say this, guys. If you want a winning vibe around the Raptors, go watch 905 this year. We're going to be very, very good. And I'm fully expecting the Raptors may even challenge for G League championship this year. Raptors 905. So anybody who wants to feel the winning around the Raptors organization, 905 may be your place to go this year. We've had some really bad years under Eric Curry the last 2 years. And, well, this year I'm expecting a big uptick with the cohesiveness and the success of the 905 once again, just like it was under Jama, just like it was under Mutombo, just like it was under Jerry Stackhouse when they were coaching 905. This year's going to be good. And if people want to feel feelings around the Raptors of winning, 905 may be the place for you this year. And that wave will come up in the bench mob way like it did before with Fred and them. And we'll feel it on the main squad level too. Yeah, consider it done. Dap. Stargate saying at David, I believe so as well. We're going to piss off the league, the Canadian hockey fans, and the American sports media. There you go. Stargate, a usurper, a man in the machine that is raging against the machine from within, somebody who really does have my heart and is a bird of a feather like me. That's right. I have the same kind of mentality as Stargate. Let's wreck shit. That's right. Let's go in there and wreck shit. Let's go, Stargate. I'm going to give you a dunk as a badass. You are a badass, my friend. 38 dunks for Stargate. I love that. I love that. Yeah, David's saying, I can't fucking wait. David's like, I can't fucking wait. That, bam. Allentown, bam, son. David, we're going to have to go to some games this year. Once again, I love going to games with the Saborn brothers, and I want to go to some more games this year with you, my man. Let's see. Andrew's saying 3 wins in a row to start. I mean, what does that mean? That means we got to play Cleveland and beat Cleveland. Then we got to beat Philly on Friday night, and then we got to go and play who's the next game the next night? I forget. The back-to-back the next night. I think it's Cleveland or something. Yeah, it's not Cleveland. It's Brooklyn. Yeah, we can win the Brooklyn games. We need to beat Brooklyn and Jordy and that team. That team has been stripped of a lot of its talent, and at this point, the only guys that are really on that team, because Mikal Bridges is gone, is Dennis Schroeder and Nicholas Claxton are the main 2 players for that team. They really don't have very good talent, and in some ways, we need to out-talent the Brooklyn Nets this year every time we play them. Jordy's starting from scratch, from the very, very bottom. In some ways, Joe Tsai is like, I'm sick of the toxicness around the Brooklyn Nets of the big 3, the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden days. And I want to reset with a culture reset. And that's why he's brought in Jordy Fernandez, and he's cleared the roster because they're starting over. And this year, the Nets are projected to be maybe the worst team in the league. So we have no business losing to our great Team Canada coach, Jordy Fernandez, and his new team. So, yeah, we need to beat them for sure. G saying, whom is guarding Mitchell? That's the key to me. Who's guarding Mitchell? Mitchell? Davion Mitchell? Which one? Donovan Mitchell? You can't have asked me, G. You got to tell me which Mitchell you're talking about. You talking about Sam? Who's guarding Sam Mitchell? Keep him out of TSN. Sam Mitchell's trying to come in the building, Leo. Get him out of here. Guard the door. Don't let Sam Mitchell into the TSN studios this year, please. Let's guard Sam Mitchell out of here. David saying, nah, man, beef, meat. Yeah, okay. And Tommy's got, look at that. He's got all kinds of fireworks and plates. He's going to set the tables. He's got candlelight dinners for the referees for this year. I love it, Tommy. Looks like there may be some fine dining this season for the referees and our ref report and the feeding of the refs. Bon appetit. That's right. Cowboy saying, I strongly believe we have more win streaks this season, like 4 straight, 5 straight, 6 straight, even. None of this one loss bullshit. No, I don't see this. In some ways, I wish I were right, Cowboy, but I don't see this. There's too many good teams, and for us to get a long win streak is going to be tough. We had a hard enough time getting dinner with Darko last year. In some ways, I hope they never, ever do something public like that ever again. And if they have low-key like team goals and little games they're doing, don't make it public. Because that whole stupid shit, the pizza party bullshit that people made up, it was a dinner. It was a fine dining dinner, and they did get it. And they ate it, and it was very good. And it had nothing to do with fucking pizza. Yeah, so, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen this year with win streaks. I will tell you it's probably not likely that we're going to get a long win streak. I will tell you that right now. Because it's more likely that we're going to have some sort of top playoff team that we're going to have to face somewhere in there, and we're going to lose. So I wish you're right. I don't think this is the year to think this, though. I don't think this is the year to think this. Andrew's saying maybe we put a Davion on Mitchell so we can have D. Mitch guarding D. Mitch. Yeah, see, I like that. That's funny. Andrew's being funny, and that's a great person to guard Donovan Mitchell is Davion, because Davion is very well known for his defense, and that's part of the reason why we got him. So maybe he can go and handle Mitchell of the same name. It's like we're not related. You got the Dennis Schroeder 17, my guy. There you go, Andrew. You got a Dennis Schroeder 17 or a Garrett Temple 17. We could say that too. Let's see. Seymour saying, oh, yeah, we got off night. Thus going to be off the hook. Dunk for Drew. We got off night. Yeah, off night. That's the nickname of Davion Mitchell because he will lock up a guard and give them an off night. And, well, Donovan Mitchell can have off nights, like where he shoots 25 shots and he only makes like 6 of them. So, yeah, let's try and do that. Davion, do that to your namesake, Donovan. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Mo's saying, Lex, it's because I'll be ready for anything. See, that's the thing. She's a diehard, true purple Raptors fan. And in any way, in any state that the Raptors are in, she's there for them, just like me. And you know what? We don't want to go back to the purple dinosaur jerseys and 20-win seasons, guys. Seriously, who wants to really do that? Purple gremlins that don't understand what that was like. If you were not born before the year 2000, maybe I'll even say if you were not born before the year 1999, you have no idea how bad it was in the beginning of the expansion Raptors and how we lost a lot. And in some ways, I'm not ready for that PTSD, guys. I'm sorry. We cannot wear purple jerseys all year and be in a rebuild. It's just not healthy for Lex. Let's just put it that way. Andrew saying, I hope Grady is more comfortable with movement shooting this year. You know, that's actually what I've seen him doing in clips this summer when he's doing workouts and stuff. He's been doing a lot of moving around screens and shooting. So there is movement shooting has been very much high on his list of skills in development this offseason. The two things I noticed about Grady was that and how much more he's bulked up. There's a lot more muscle mass around his shoulders and his arms right now than there was at the end of the season. So those are the two things I've seen. And I think that, yeah, he's been working specifically on this and probably under the direction of Darko because he said, this is what I want you to work on this summer. Stargate saying, OKC is the team I'm watching for. Yeah, the Thunder had some postseason success this past year, but really their youth hurt them. Everybody say, oh, the Thunder is so good. They could go all the way. No, I'm telling y'all, young teams have to learn stair steps. They have to hit their ceilings each year. And sometimes their ceiling is a team that's more playoff savvy and older and knows what they're doing a little bit more in those situations. And the Thunder, they're not just going to magically rise up and steal an NBA championship all of a sudden. That's why the Raptors, when they won their championship in 2019, we had guys that were seasoned and knew what to do to get that level. And that's how we were successful. So, you know, winning championships with really young teams is just not realistic. It never is. And the Thunder, just like us, are building up to it. And they're a little bit higher on the escalator in success. But SGA's got to go through those trials. He can't just magically go to the finals, guys. He's got to figure out how to beat Jokic and Denver and other teams like that are out there that have done more than they have. And in some ways, everybody's saying, oh, they're so talented. They're so stacked. Yeah, bullshit. They don't have the experience. They have to learn and fail. And then they'll get there. That's right. Andrew's saying, I think OKC is going to be really nice. Adding Caruso and Ihart to that team is kind of crazy. Those are great additions, and they're more veteran and they're more knowledgeable. And in some ways, as they saw in the postseason, they needed more of that kind of stuff to battle in the Western Conference in the playoffs. And Caruso is going to be a big, huge help. Ihart's interesting. I'm glad he's just off the Knicks, honestly. And in some ways, he'll be interesting there. We'll have to see. Oklahoma City should be pretty good. I think that you're right. Cowboys saying, no worries, Andrew. We got Scotty. There you go. We got Scotty. Stargate saying that, Andrew, yep, that 905 team looks serious. And now they have a real coach. They're going to be a real problem. Yeah, I believe this. And not only that, the 905 have been kind of short for a couple of years. Not real true centers. McCurr, the most like a center, but he's really skinny and kind of pushed around. Well, we actually have guys that actually can hold some position up front, like Shamshay. And Carlson's very intriguing to have around the 905. We haven't had a true center like him other than Jonte last year, idiot, redacted. So, yeah, it'll be very fun to watch 905 this year. I'm not going to look at it as a chore. And Monique, will you actually watch the games this year because Eric Curry's not around anymore? I think she probably will. You should watch as many 905 games this year as possible, Mo. This is the season you need to do it because I know last year you weren't watching. You were like, I ain't watching this crap. Eric Curry pisses me off. This is the year to watch him. Seriously. Cowboys got all the young rookies' heads on blast there on his comment there. We see Mobo, Walter, Shamshay, Carlson. Carlson's not on there right now, is he? No. Shed. There's Shed, and there's Darko and Masai. Andrew saying, I think Masai is trying to build bench mob too with these dudes. That's exactly what he's trying to do. And that's what we need to be watching, the comparison and the way it kind of looks like from that era of Fred VanVleet, DeLon Wright, Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam, original bench mob. Yeah, we're going to have to pay attention and see the parallels, and hopefully it's comparing. Yeah. Yep. Dap and Cool Cat saying, I really should attend a Raptors meetup. We'd love for you to meet up with us, Cool Cat. Seriously, it'd be awesome. So, yeah, seriously consider it when we have our next one coming up. You know, we're going to do them twice, 2 or 3 times a year. And, yeah, we'll probably have one maybe by the end of the year, still one more in the fall. If not, for sure, we'll have one next year. So yeah, definitely consider it, Cool Cat. We've obviously wanted to meet you, and a lot of different Raptor freaks have come through and said hey. And if you haven't, well, next time you come like Cool Cat and say hey. That's what I'm saying. Tobias is saying it sucks. I won't be able to make it to a game, being that I live out west. But hopefully the boys have a good season. Yeah, it's you're in town right now, but it's off season. Yeah, I don't know, Tobias. It may be that you need to come back during the season if you can at some point. And maybe this year's not your year, but maybe the year after. And either way, we'll figure it out. We'll try and get together, have people go to the game with you. Because that's what we like to do too. If Tommy's coming to town from BC, Isaac's coming from Ottawa, well, we're trying to go to the game with them. All go on tickets together. Yeah, Cool Cat saying, oops, when I say alumni, I mean our alumni championship players, Pascal, Lowry, Fred, and Norm. Yeah, I mean these guys are champion alumni, sure, and but they are still active in the league. Carlos said, I think the rebrand is the motto. The future is now. Yeah, I don't think there's actually a rebrand. I think that Raptors fans they want to have an overhaul of our entire motif of our colors, and they want to really go back and live in the '90s. You're idiots, by the way. Purple Gremlins, just stop, please, please. No, it's not the label rebrand. Once again, I'm gonna be anti it, just like I was against rebuild before. And just because we're in a rebuild doesn't mean we're going to do a rebrand. And the red and the black of the Raptors is the colors of the team. And anybody wanting purple to be our primary color, just hold your breath and you go ahead and turn purple your face because you ain't going to get it. And it's funny because these purple gremlins are starting to realize it in the last 24 hours because they've seen the release and the dates. And some of them are realizing, oh, so maybe they're just going to do purple jerseys on these dates. Yeah, dumbasses. They always are going to do it that way. Everybody who thought we're going to play in purple all year long, you're idiots. Let's just put it that way. And all y'all saying, oh, we're going to riot if we don't get the purple rebrand. Y'all are dumbasses, you purple gremlins. Get over yourself, comment section on Instagram and Twitter. You idiots talking about, oh, this we don't get this, we riot. What the fuck are you talking about? Seriously, what are you talking about? You're going to riot because you don't get purple jerseys 82 games of the season. You are idiots. That's what I say to all those people that are all pro purple jerseys. Seriously, if you don't like that and you're a Raptors fan, come talk to the Raptors Freak. Come talk to me and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. They're ugly ass jerseys. Seriously. Those old purple jerseys we had were ugly and the red jerseys look better. I'm going to say that every single time. And y'all people that think the purple jerseys look better than the red jerseys, no, they don't. They don't. That's an ugly ass color of purple that we had in the beginning. Now the rebrand, not the rebrand, the anniversary season, the 20th anniversary season with Kyle Lowry wearing purple dinosaur jerseys, they changed the color of the purple. It's not the same purple that Damon wore. That purple that we used 10 years ago in the 20th anniversary season when Kyle Lowry was wearing the purple jersey. I went to the game against the Wizards and we wore those jerseys. They were purple dinosaur jerseys. That purple was a better, more attractive purple than the original Raptors purple. The purple that is on Vince Carter's jersey is ugly. That purple front black back. I know. I own a bunch of those jerseys. They're ugly as hell. They were on my wall behind me at the old show. And people know, watching me for the last couple of years, I used to have purple jerseys that were sitting behind me. Alvin Williams, Muggsy Bogues, and Jerome Williams. And yeah, it's just how I feel about it. And maybe I can, other people have their opinions and stuff. But everybody holding their breath for a full purple rebrand, y'all are idiots. Y'all been idiots this whole summer in the way you have it. Maybe it's like Raptors bought bots. Maybe they're like, let's get a whole bunch of people up and all crazy about it. Because some of the comments in there seem like they're very bottish about the purple rebrand and stupid shit like that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. 100% Cool Cat. Good times. Yeah. Cowboys come consistently to most of the Raptor Freak meet and greets. And he would love to meet you as would I. Andrew saying it's kind of funny that the Spurs got a Christmas game after winning 22 games. Well, we know why, Andrew. We know why. It's money around Wemby. Why is Wemby in the gold medal game getting a silver at the Olympics? Why is Wemby playing on Christmas? That's it right there. Tobias is saying it would be cool to meet Nabatia eventually. You can do that. That's actually not as hard as you think. You just got to go to a game. And if you can get to his section down there, you can go talk to him for a second. He talks to all the fans around the game, before the game. Quite often, Nav is at very public events, and he's very, very open and giving to his time to people that are Raptors fans who want to come talk to him. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be at the Paris Olympics and he's sitting there and you see him sitting there. If you walk up to Nat Bhatia, he will hold his arms out with open arms and say, hello, you're a Raptors fan? Oh, he really does do the ambassador really, really well. And he's not full of shit. Like you see what you get. He is exactly that dude. And yeah, he'd be happy to talk to you if you approached him. Seriously, some people are not like that, but Nab is. Nab is. David's saying, I met him at Pearson Airport one morning. He was coming back from some basketball game that was held in Calgary last year, special locations. He's an awesome guy. See, that's what I'm saying. David saw him in the airport, and he just walked up to him, and he gave him his time. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty damn cool. Randolph saying, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang, blessings. Let us strive to become better than we currently are. When we do, everything around us becomes better too. I love that. I love that so much. That's right. Listen, the Raptors are going to have a learning curve and they're not going to be very good in the beginning, but they could get good real fast. And that's what we got to do. Strive to be better after every single day, get better. That's a statement that a lot of basketball coaches and players have. Get better every day. Go out there and just improve every single day. And it'll add up. And in the long run, you will be somewhere very, very fantastic, like graduating from medical school. Is what I'll say. Just add to it every single day, Raptors. You're going to get there. You're going to get there. Yeah. The Giants of Africa game is December the 5th. Okay. I did not know this one, Monique. So the Giants of Africa game is going to be an Oklahoma City Thunder game. Okay. That's new news. I did not know this one. Thank you, Mo, for dropping news on me that our annual Giants of Africa game will be December the 5th against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Very, very cool. She knows that. Oh, yeah, she knows. We're going to give Mo a dunk. For Mo knows, just like Bo knows baseball and football. Bo knows. Well, Mo knows basketball. And that's what I'm going to say right there. Mo knows, just like Bo Jackson. 133, Mo. You're at 133 dunks now, Monique. Very, very good. Carlos here. Good to see Carlo. As long as we don't have multiple injuries, multiple family deaths, yikes, and a betting scandal, major roster shakeups, I think we will have a winning season. I mean, I could say you take all that stuff out of last year. Will we be better? Maybe. Probably, yeah. Scotty didn't get hurt. Jakob didn't get hurt. We would have collected a lot of extra wins at the end of the season. I think that Carlo's onto something. He's mostly right, but there's no guarantees. And we just got to see how it goes. Now, yeah, we don't want any more deaths. That's for sure. And injuries, we don't want those either. Yeah, betting scandal. Yeah, no more bullshit like Porter. That idiot. What an idiot. Yeah. And we're going to have to see. Maybe once again, we get a lot of that bad stuff out of the way last season. And this year's more smooth sailing. That's what we want. Carlo JS, good to see you. The future is now. And he's got our rookies on blast with our coach and our president. There you go. Congrats to Smooth sister on medical school. That's right. Cowboys got him on blast too. Stacked. This is what he's saying. Trevor's saying, so you should do 2. All right. You want me to do 2? I'm going to go ahead and do 2. Let's going to do a second classic card of the day right now, commissioned by Trevor J. He is adjudicating that I should. So I'll go ahead and do the second one right now since we didn't do one yesterday. All right. We'll do this one. This one is weird because in some ways there's 2 names I need. You can get two different points for this one. I think this card is actually not even just one person on the card. It actually is supposed to be both the people. And this card is very easy. Let's just put it that way. So whoever can write the names in correctly, spelled correctly, first, either one of them, you will get points. And I hope David's still here. We'll see if he is still here. Here we go. I'm not going to show it that close because y'all should be able to see who that is from far away. I'm not going to show that so close. Mike's just putting Meta World Peace in ahead of time. It's not Ron Artest or Panda Friend, however you want to call them. I don't know. Can y'all see those? Just enough so that you can kind of see what that is. It's a rivalry from the NBA, and we want both their names. You don't have to put them both in. You better not half-ass me. I'm telling you, Andrew, you know that's half-assing. That is half-assing. Don't guess in the comments. You're going to help other people. Think about it yourself. And write it in. If you think it's that person, write their whole name in because you won't get the points unless you don't write their whole name in, is what I say on that. Seriously. I don't want to give it too close because if I bring it in too close, y'all are going to see it. All right, Mike, you just half-assed it, so you don't get any points either. Y'all know the rules of the classic card and trivia, right? Do y'all know the rules? I don't take half-name answers. You got to write both their names. I'm sorry. So let's see. Now, Smooth is getting one of the names because he actually wrote one of the names in, but he didn't write the other one in correctly either. So Smooth will give you the Patrick Ewing. That is right. but nobody's getting the for other name because nobody's actually written his last name in. And I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all are half-assing. I'm really, you know what? If the Raptors come this season like y'all do with the classic cards, we're screwed. We're screwed. That's what I'm gonna say there, right there. Davis giving 50 points to nobody's gonna get the easy points right now. Seriously, they're just right there. There you go. Andrew's writing it in now. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. It is Keem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, a rivalry card, Knicks versus Rockets, Olajuwon versus the Ewing. That is the card. We're gonna give the points, one of the points for Patrick Ewing to Smooth, and then one of the points for Andrew, Hakeem Olajuwon. Y'all can't write Olajuwon in? Like, seriously, why are y'all so lazy? Why are y'all so lazy? If I have to say that the Raptors this season, I'm be like, well, the Raptor freaks were lazy with the classic car in the summer. We can't have this kind of energy. We go all out. We get it done, and then we can be successful and get those wins y'all are talking about today. Because we ain't going to get wins if we come at things like y'all just did at the classic card. I'm serious. This is the easiest card in the world. Patrick Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon. You can't write their full names out. What's wrong with y'all? Seriously. All right. I'm an angry coach right now. So 25 points to Andrew, and we're going to get 50 to Smooth for Patrick Ewing, guys. So, yeah, some sort of weird rivalry card right here. Patrick Ewing versus Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah, and, of course, they faced each other in the finals, and Olajuwon won, right? Yeah, that was during the OJ craziness that happened, right? OJ was driving the Bronco during this series. Yeah, okay, there you go. You guys, David, write that stuff in on the thing so that it's up to date. So I'll go check it afterwards, guys. So there you go. 94 is the year. That's right, Mike. That's right. Good job. Good job. Well, not really. I'm really disappointed in you guys. Don't come half-assed like that. Don't half-step me. Seriously, y'all need to come correct next time. And don't be half-assing. Seriously, guys. We don't do this half-ass shit. We really don't. All right. Let's see. All right, let me go back to where we were. That was the first classic card, and good job by Andrew on the first one. 200 points for Andrew getting to DeJuan Wagner, which is much harder than that last one we just did. Let's see. He was a hyped up high school guy, DeJuan Wagner. That's what Mike's saying. That's interesting. Andrew's saying he was nice for the University of Memphis. Was he playing for Penny? No, I think Penny wasn't coached there yet. Cowboys saying, I think Gary Trent Jr. deserves a cheer from the crowd. Who did he sign with again? He's on the Bucks. He's on the Milwaukee Bucks. And when he comes in, they probably will give a wave to Gary the first time he returns with the Milwaukee Bucks. So, yeah, we will see them first in Milwaukee. And on that note, let's do the Instagram stories real quick because there's something about this. I've got Gary Trent Sr., and he's getting a box from Gucci. He got some new shoes, and the shoes are very much green and red like Milwaukee Bucks colors. So Gary Trent Sr. is going to be showing up to Milwaukee Bucks home games with some nice new green Gucci kicks. That's what we found out on his Instagram yesterday. And then he's got a funny dog making a funny face saying, when Shorty got no job, but always traveling, eating fancy dinners, and on yachts. What else has he got? He's got this crazy volleyball scene where this lady takes a spike to the face and got nailed right in the face, and she dropped when she got hit. Man, that's crazy. Virgos in 2024, when you're back in your self-worth era and the confidence kicks in. He's got Kanye on there. Yeah, Gary's a very proud Virgo power, Gary Trent Sr. That's right. And then also he's showing some young lady who's very good at dunking. She's like throwing it down on a 10-foot dunk. Very easy. Grady Dick is got I believe he's a mumble rapper. He's got him on blast. I think that he's coming back at some point. Maker is somewhere in Europe, and there's a store called Maker. The name of the store is Maker, so he had to take a picture of it because it has his family name on it. Let's see. Lloyd's got a song by Lil Yachty named Sorry Not Sorry on blast on his. Let's see. Jeff Landicho, producer, a former producer of Open Gym's got a thing. I think they worked with Slam Magazine, Jeff and Masai and Giants of Africa. I think that there's going to be a spread coming out in Slam about Masai and his work in Africa with Giants of Africa, and that they did some really cool pictures for it. So Jeff is thanking Slam, the magazine. So I think that we can expect a Slam issue that's going to come out with an article on Masai Ujiri and his connection with Giants of Africa. So that's pretty damn cool, honestly, if you ask me. So, yeah, and then it looks like Jeff's kid graduated or something. Congratulations to Jeff's kid. Congratulate. We cover a lot on Raptor Streak channel. And then Matt Devlin's in Iowa, where his son goes to school, and there's a DJ out there playing music, and Matt Devlin is reveling in the Iowa vibes right now. It looks like Shamshay has got a picture of a friend of his on the G League Ignite. I'm not sure who that is. He has a lot of friends he celebrates on his Instagram and stuff. So Shamshay is a friend to all Africans that are trying to make it in the NBA. He's not looking at them as competition or enemies. He wants everybody to make it. And in some ways, that attitude is going to get him further too. Let's see. Slim Duck has got something like when mom says you got to bring your little brother, and he's making fun of Anthony Edwards. Basically, Slim Duck's a big fan of KD. He loves Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant's in this clip, and he's like waving to everybody, and then Anthony Edwards shows up behind him. And that's the funny thing. They're saying, like, when mom makes you bring your little brother. Oh, it's so funny. If you see it, you'll laugh because you'll understand what I'm saying. I love what Emmanuel Quickly's got in his Instagram stories today. He's got a coach who's talking about practice gratitude every day. And boom, your life will be a shocking percentage of your life will be better and better and better from practicing gratitude. And that's one of the things we try and talk about all the time on this channel with our words of wisdom from our three wise men, Trevor, Leo Routens, and Randolph Phillips. We are all about the gratitude and remembering to have gratitude every day because our guys are always talking about it in our words of wisdom. And I love that. And Emmanuel's all about it too with what he's talking about. Precious has still got his What If Unlimited camp going on over in Nigeria right now. And there's a nasty dunk. This is the thing. Precious likes to do crazy dunks before the practice starts. And he has a nice little baseline throwdown on his clip right there. And then Raptors 905 has finished up their camp at Camp 905 out in Mississauga. And it looks like the kids had a great time. Raptors 905 camp, good stuff. Giving back to the community. There's your Raptors Instagram stories for today. Gary Trent Sr.'s got Milwaukee Bucks color shoes now that he will be wearing when he goes to see his son play. That's right. There you go. Mike saying the Bucks with Dame, his old buddy with Doc, and Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham returning to Milwaukee after being let go by the Lakers this offseason to be assistant coach. I fully expect him to be the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks in the next year. They will fire Doc Rivers at some point this season, and Darvin Ham will be the full-fledged coach of the Bucks like they wanted the whole time. This will happen. Watch. He was supposed to come in after Budenholzer, but the Lakers took Darvin Ham, and they had him over there for a while, but he was always destined to be the next Milwaukee Bucks coach. And in some ways, Adrian Griffin, that bullshit that happened with him last year, and then Doc Rivers, they're just placeholders. And Darvin Ham was always the coach the Bucks have wanted to be their head coach. And don't be surprised when they fire Doc Rivers and they put Darvin Ham in that spot. Seriously, that's going to happen. Now, I don't know how good the Bucks are going to be because they're still kind of up, not totally right. Seriously. Andrew's saying, I feel like Shamshay has defensive player of the year potential in the G League. I agree with this. I predicted this like a couple weeks ago that there's a possibility that Shamshay playing in the G League, if he does certain things a certain way, he could end up like Chris Boucher and be a G League MVP along with a G League Defensive Player of the Year. That's an accomplishment that Boucher got while he was there. I could see him getting the Defensive Player of the Year pretty easy. The MVP may be harder just because the scoring side he may not have yet. But yeah, I think you're right, Andrew. I think that he's a very strong candidate for this if he can play consistently and stay healthy. Trevor's saying Sky could not stop Griner. 24 points win last night, and Phoenix could not stop Reese's double-double. Okay, a little WNBA news brief there. We are in the middle of our fantasy league, so y'all make sure you're setting up your WNBA fantasy teams if you're in our league. We're getting on the home stretch. There's not many weeks left, and if you're going to be in the playoffs, you better be ready because that's when it matters. We're going to be in the WNBA playoffs in our fantasy league soon, so be ready for that. Mike's saying healthy, we have a decent starters that have years of experience. The bench production should be better with Mitchell and Kelly and Brown, and the fifth starter will be figured out after we see more Barbecue and Yak. Yeah, I think that's kind of echoing what I said earlier, some of that. And also, yeah, I don't know how our bench is going to be. I don't want to guarantee we're going to have a good bench. We've been wanting a good bench the last couple of years, and it really hasn't happened. Part of it was Nick's fault when he was coaching. Last year, it was injuries that kind of and the upheaval that we couldn't really get a good bench rhythm with bench players. Well, hopefully that'll happen more with the bench mob growing on the 905, and we'll see better results from bench players after the starters in the next couple of years with the Raptors. So, yeah, hopefully. Carlos saying they should have Shamshay watch some Al Jefferson post moves 24/7 for a week. That one dribble fast post move is going to be free points for a guy like Shamshay. That's not a bad suggestion at all. And what a name to just bring out of the blue. We don't really talk about Al Jefferson very often. But yeah, I'll agree with this, Carlo. I'll agree with this completely. Cowboys saying it's so awesome how Grady and Walter fell in the Raptors lap. We are a goodie this year. Yeah, I like getting top 10 kind of talent in later than top 10. And yeah, Jacoby's even crazier than Grady. In some ways, Grady was kind of iffy whether he's a top 10 talent, but in some ways, he probably will grow into it. But Jacoby Walter at 19 is an absolute steal that nobody's talking about. And people are going to find out over time. Jacoby Walter is going to be something, and everybody's going to be like, the Raptors drafted him in 19. It's very similar to OG. It's very, very similar to OG. OG got drafted around the same place in the draft. And look at where OG is now as far as the darling of the Big Apple. So let's see. Wayne saying, I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about this season. It sounds like a broken record, but my analytical matrix is our mid-range and outside shooting accuracy, season improvement, and I am good. Yeah, I mean, we can be tough and be like, yeah, absolute championship or bust idiots, but we're realistic. And in some ways, we got to gauge our success by progress. That's just the whole thing. And Raptors fans that can't do this, don't grasp success through failure, they're going to be miserable. And I don't care. That's their own low-level thinking that's going to get them into those places and be in that kind of consternation and sadness. Well, I'm not going to be there. The Raptors going to lose games. I expect it to happen. And in past years, when we had good teams that should have been winning games, I was more mad at that. But if we're going to have youngsters that are on the job learning, well, how can I get that mad at them when they screw up and they have to learn tough lessons at the end of games that they miss and they lose? So in some ways, that's the way you got to look at it. In comparison to like the other years I've done this channel, I'm going to be a lot more nicer to the Raptors and criticalness. I mean, in some ways, I'm going to point out what they did wrong and stuff and where they could have improved. But I'm also going to be keeping in mind that what I just said when I talk about them. Cowboys saying 100%, Andrew. Dap. Shamshay is a special one of a kind. The best $1 million Masai ever spent. Paying the money to the other team to get that draft pick at the end of the draft to land Shamshay. Yeah, I want to see the career arc of Shamshay over the years. Is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I'm very here for it. And Cowboy, I'm more with you on Shamshay in your enthusiasm than I was Koloko. Last year, you were crazy about Koloko, or 2 years ago, I should say, when he was a rookie. And in some ways, I was like, yeah, but no, I actually believe a lot of your crazy enthusiasm about Shamshay is true. If Koloko, you really talked big about Koloko 2 years ago. And I was like, you're kind of like not realistic. But you know what? You're realistic on Shamshay. I'm going to tell you that right now, Bradley. You're realistic about him. Mike saying, with barbecue growing out of their roles and working on weaknesses, I believe we will see what holes are still there. I think a point of attack defender and spacing is what we need, but it's too early to say, in my opinion. Point of attack defender is Davion Mitchell, is Jamal Shed. Those two guys in particular are well known for this. So these were concerns met by our front office this summer. The Davion Mitchell thing is going to be very underrated. People don't understand exactly what he's going to add to us that we were lacking. And Shed is the same kind of guy as far as a dog on defense, really annoying. Jacoby Walter is going to help with this too, guys. Watch. Yeah. Mike's Monique saying W stream W vibes. Keep at it always. Good times. Yep, we're at almost 2 hours. Monique's just right on time with the cutoff. Thank you, Mo. Hopefully not too many comments and we'll get done. Mike's saying people are surveyed in the U.S. and in Europe associate purple color with royalty, rarity, piety, mystery, and magic. Purple is a good color in my opinion. I'm not saying that purple isn't a good color in general. I think it's a great color. I'm just saying, fucking stop going back in the past. We go forward in life. And people that are all nostalgic too much or want to just do this, they're idiots. You glorify the past while the future dries up. That's what I say to this. So we're going forward. We're not so much looking back. The 30th anniversary season, sure, we're going to celebrate our history, but don't get it twisted. This is the barbecue era, and we're going forward. We're not in the Mighty Mouse era. We're not in the Vince Carter era. And those were the threads that we wore then. And in some ways, I'm going to stand on this because there's not enough people standing against this. It's a horrible idea to absolutely rebrand our team to purple. And the purple gremlins are idiots. Honestly, I really do think a lot of y'all that are in the comment sections right now are bombarding Raptors social media with purple, purple. We want purple. You sound like childish little shits that are like kids at the candy store. Mommy, I want M&Ms. No, you don't get M&Ms. We're eating dinner soon. I want M&Ms. That's what y'all sound like to me. You purple gremlins in the chats saying, "Oh, we want purple rebrand." You're edging us. You're edging us. No, we're not. You weird sexual thing you're saying. We're not edging you. What is this? You guys are idiots. Let it go. Let the Raptors do what they're going to do. You're going to get purple jerseys, but not full time. That's enough. That is enough. I was saying later, Lex, dap to you, Cowboy. Everyone enjoy your day. Raptors are back. All right, let's do the Cowboy ad as warranted every day. Ta-da, 647-833-6844. Franchise is available. That's right. I don't get paid by Tada to do this. I do this because Bradley's my friend, and I want to get him more business. Let's go. Let's go. What's the tractor app say today? All right, let's go look at the Farmer's Almanac for today. Sometimes we look at the old Farmer's Almanac and we find out what's going on with what we should be doing. Today is the best day, Bradley, to set posts or pour concrete. So that's it. If you got a job right now, Bradley, where you got to pour some concrete, this is a great day to do it, according to the old Farmer's Almanac. There you go. There you go. Mike has retracted his statement. And Trevor's saying, first take live New York fans festival at Jacoby what center today? I don't know what that is. I don't give a shit about first take. They can go jump off a long pier. Yeah, fuck ESPN and their bullshit. I don't care, Trevor. Mike saying meta world peace. Oh yeah, that's answering that one. Yeah, I really wish y'all would have not half-assed the second trivia card so much, man. David thought it was awesome, though. You like my orneriness of it. Mike saying Wagner was one of those next NBA great hype in high school. He didn't pan out. Yeah, DeJuan Wagner. Yeah, he didn't ever pan out, did he? No. Smooth saying Kenny Lofton Jr. to the Bulls on a 1-year contract. That's interesting. Breaking news. Thank you, Smooth, for that. Ahmed's here. Ahmed, our trivia champion. There's the championship trophy. There's his name right there. He's saying, yo, how's everyone doing? Finally able to catch a non-Tuesday stream. Been so busy since I got home. Went back to school, shopping today. I'm going to miss being at home. You're going to be at school? I don't understand completely, Ahmed, but I'm glad you're back home and safe. And, whatever you got going on, you got to go back to school. Well, you're a youngster. You got school. That's just how it is. But yeah, I'm glad you had a safe trip to Canada and you're back safe and you're getting back in your regular routine. Good to see our current Raptor Freak champion, Amit Gaming, in the chat. Tobias saying Darvin Ham was treated like a piece of trash by LeBron and the Lakers. Yeah, they're fan nation, a lot of different people. It really is like, you better be like doing really good things for us. We'll toss you out like trash. And Darvin Ham was successful and they wanted to keep him and everybody loved him for a little while. And then last year at some point, they were just like, yeah, disenchanted with him. It's just a symptom of the toxicity of Laker Nation is what it is. They throw out guys left and right. And some of it has to do with LeBron for sure. Mike saying Ham went to Pat Bev and apologized for not listening to Bev about practicing more. He basically said Braun wasn't going to listen and asked Pat Bev for Russ's number to apologize to him too. Ham got screwed. It doesn't matter. In some ways, he got exactly what he deserves, and that's fantastic. It's a good thing for Darvin Ham. I don't feel bad for him. He got out of L.A., seriously. This is J.J. Redick's problem now. And Darvin Ham is back where he wanted to be in the first place. He's Bucks Nation, and this is the right thing. In some ways, I don't feel bad for Darvin Ham. They did him a favor when they fired him last year. Trust me, they did. They did him a favor. Amit saying, been looking at the 2025 NBA draft. I know it's early, but I see some good prospects. I know it may be because both are Israeli, but I see a lot of hope for the under 18 Euro Championship MVP Ben Sharaf, 6'6" guard. Yeah, I'm not interested in point guards. Let's see. Mike is saying Mitchell could be the fifth starter, but he needs to hit threes. On the down low, Mike, Davion Mitchell was hitting threes very well for the Kings last year. In some ways, his 3-point percentage was really good last year. So he is a dark horse candidate to get this starting job next to Emmanuel. The only thing I would say is that's two guards that are shorter in the backup, in the lineup. In some ways, that's the one thing I wouldn't like about Davion starting with Quickly is that they're both right around 6'3", 6'4" kind of guards. And I'd rather have a tall guard next to the helm like Grady. If Grady's the shooting guard, that means we got a tall guy in the backcourt. And that would be the only thing I'd have a critical of that. Yeah. Let's see. Amit's saying, I want the purple just as a replacement for the gold. I'm getting tired of it. I like the North Triangle black and white jerseys, but I don't think we should make it a full time color. You know what? The whole reason why we do gold is because of Drake, is because of OVO branding. And I think it's classy. In some ways, I've really, really enjoyed the black and gold. In some ways, I'll disagree with you on that. I think that in as much as the purple bugs me because in some ways it looks like kind of cheap and gaudy, the black is classy and very elegant and exquisite to me. The black and the gold. So I don't totally agree with your sentiment on that, but listen, we have so many jerseys, and we're going to be coming out in different looks all the time. They're going to be white and red jerseys, going to be black and red jerseys. There's going to be black and there's going to be white. There's going to be purple jerseys. There's going to be black and gold jerseys. There's going to be so many jerseys because they want y'all to go spend your money on every single type of jersey. So they're going to have so many different jerseys this year, guys. And everybody should be like getting what they want. I don't know if they're going to do Welcome Toronto this year. In some ways, they won't do the purple, the black and the gold this year, and they will replace it with the purple 30th anniversary throwbacks. That is very likely because in some ways, maybe I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think we're going to get throwback purple jerseys, no matter what, guys. So don't freak out. It's just that everybody thinking that it's just going to be automatically our new main color again. They're wrong. They are so wrong when they say that. They're so wrong when they say that. Yeah. Mike saying purple hits different for younger people that were like 5 years old in 95. It's a childhood nostalgia for a large part of Raptors Nation. No, I get that. And listen, I'm nostalgia too. What do you think this channel is? I do nostalgia like crazy. I do the birthdays of the old Raptors. I talk about the history all the time. I talk about moments that happened in Raptors history because I was a 20-year-old when they started, and I can remember it as an adult. I can talk about the very early history of the Raptors very intensely as an adult person that was fully grown at that time. And in some ways, that's part of it. I mean, I get it. I get it. Nostalgia is fun. And in a 30th anniversary season, we should have it in its right place. But I'm going to stand on these hills. There's a couple of hills that I may lose in the end this year. And one of them may be retiring Vince's jersey. But I'm still going to stand on these hills. I'm still going to stand on these hills. Yeah. Wayne saying, hoping Darko really uses Kelly's aggressiveness. We should utilize his skill set to not just motivate, but to be competitive and winnable games. Yeah. Yeah. Know your personnel, and Kelly Olynyk is a goon. Kelly Olynyk can be very physical, and Kelly Olynyk can get things done in a winning way, in a dirty way. And in some ways, yes, know your skills and the skill set of this guy and what's in his bag and get it out there. I agree with this. I think that Kelly wasn't used enough for Team Canada just recently. I'm really mad that he didn't play more against France. In some ways, that's my biggest criticism towards Jordi Fernandez. Is you did not play Kelly Olynyk enough against France in that kind of game. You needed to have him out there fighting Lasorte and Yabusele because he is the perfect person on Team Canada to do that. And he didn't do it. It's like, why aren't you playing Kelly? Kelly has fouls. He can put on these guys and put some physicality in this game against France. In some ways, that pissed me off. I don't think Darko will fail on this, but don't expect Kelly as much as you did last year, because in some ways he was playing way too much starting in the absence of Jakob, playing way too much. Yeah, Mike's saying City Edition jerseys have been nice with the gold versus that yellow and black first version. I mean, there's slight alterations and different stuff. I don't most of the time I don't hate any Raptors jerseys. Don't get me wrong. I did not like the camouflage. The camouflage jerseys were absolute trash. And also, there are early purple jerseys that I think are ugly as fuck. And I'm just being completely honest. But there are a lot of jerseys throughout our history that are actually really cool, and I like a lot. And it's all personal tastes in some ways. It's all personal taste. But the Raptors' primary color is this one. And I will tell all the young Raptor fans that the Raptors were not ever purple color. It was always the Raptor was red on the jersey. You can go back and look at Damon Stoudemire in the very first year of the Raptors in a white dinosaur jersey, and that dinosaur is red, y'all. The dinosaur was never purple, and the dinosaur has always been red in the whole history of the Raptors. And in some ways, that's the color of the Raptors, the red Raptor. The Raptor is red, y'all. He always has been. The mascot's always been red. No purple Barney dinosaur bullshit. And that's the other thing y'all don't realize. You want to open the Barney door? Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't love you. You love me. Bullshit. We don't need that again. Seriously, we don't need to open that Barney door. Seriously, y'all may have loved Barney back then, but I didn't. I was an adult. And maybe the Raptors team was marketed to the children of the 90s, but I was an adult. And the Barney shit and the childish shit, even the naming of the team originally was kind of like, yeah, okay, this is cool because I like the tour with the Raptor, with Toronto. The name was cool. It was futuristic. But in some ways, we've been named by children about a dinosaur movie. And in some ways, come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Amit's saying I was negative 14 years old. Laugh out loud. He was negative 14 years old when the Raptors started. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't know what the early days were like. He wasn't even around. Mike's saying Brown and Kelly are ready to do dirty work. Yeah. Yeah, we want them to do dirty work. Jakob will have his share. Scotty will have his share too. Mo's saying right about the camouflage, Lex. They may be the worst jerseys we've ever had in our entire history, Mo. When we had those Jose Calderon, Chris Bosh camouflage jerseys right around 2010, they were awful. Oh my God, those jerseys were bad. So bad. They weren't even like regular camouflage. They were like some sort of weird camouflage. It was like an off color camouflage. It really was. Yeah, Mike's saying first OVO night had a black and mustard yellow color. The next year was gold and black. Yeah, it was just a little bit off. Like the yellow wasn't exactly right. I kind of remember that, Mike. All right, let me see. Let me make sure I've checked all my chaps. Today we were talking about the schedule coming out yesterday and what we think of it is very interesting. Of course, the Vince Carter game will be February the 12th in Toronto against Cleveland. So anybody who wants to be there for the Vince honoring, I don't know how they'll honor him. It may be a statue, guys. It may not be the retirement of his jersey. It will be on February the 12th. It's a Wednesday. It's the second night of a back-to-back after we play in Philly the night before. So be ready for that. Yeah, the schedule's out. It's awesome. And in some ways, I'm enthusiastic and very excited about it for sure. I think that's it. There's no birthday today. I will say this late. Happy birthday yesterday to Bruno Fernando. It was Bruce Brown Jr.'s birthday yesterday and also Bruno's. I didn't know because he just showed up on the team like 2 weeks ago. And he's not even on a guaranteed contract. So happy birthday, Bruno Fernando. Sorry I missed your birthday. He's turned 26 yesterday. Bruno Fernando, of course, from Angola. And he was at Basketball Without Borders recently with the Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley, Darko Rajakovic, and Masai Ujiri. And he was in our training camp, and he is going to be trying to make our team. And I think he's got a decent shot. We'll have to see if Koloko comes back. We'll have to see about that. Yeah. Mike's saying digital camo jerseys are the worst. Yeah, those were bad. That's what it was. They were like digital camo. They had like little blocks, and like it was so bad. It was so bad. Those jerseys really were bad. I know they were trying to honor Canadian Armed Forces, and I like that. I have family that's in the Canadian Armed Forces, but still, it was ugly jersey. It was really, really ugly. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. I hope you enjoyed my stream today, and I hope you learned something about our schedule a little bit from earlier at the beginning of the stream when I talked about the schedule for a big chunk of the first half hour. And yeah. Tomorrow, share the love club, Chuck Swirsky. That's right. We're going to give the love to old Chuck, Salami and Cheese Man. And yeah, if you miss the old nostalgia of Chuck Swirsky and what he did for our team as the voice of the Raptors for that period of time, well, we're going to honor him tomorrow. He was involved in the CBL this summer, and he called the championship game this past weekend with Niagara River Lions beating the Vancouver Bandits. So yeah, Chuck's been in Canada calling basketball. So we're going to honor Chuck as a historic Raptors announcer tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. I hope you won't miss it. The Saturday Share the Love Club every Saturday on the off season, 9:30 a.m. I'll be back tomorrow, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and join the channel if you feel like it. Membership does have its privileges. You would have gotten access to my early feelings about the schedule right after it came out yesterday around 4 p.m. I listed a lot of things I noticed about the schedule right away. So if you want that breaking news, early stuff, well, join as a member. You get access to our Facebook group and the ability to get the breaking news from Monique, the superfan Lawrence, Commissioner Trevor J, and myself. We're dropping knowledge left and right on the hour by the hour. That's right. That's what we do there. That's right. Tommy's got the hot dog and the onions out there. Get the salami and cheese out there, baby. Have a good one. Onions, baby. Onions. There you go, Tommy. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. And Mike's saying it was like a bad MS Paint design. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it was bad. The digital camo. We'll call it the digital camo. I like that, Mike. All right, y'all. Have a great Friday. TJIF. Get out there and touch grass and live your life like Nab Batu would. Raptorize your day and do something nice. Somebody approaches you, be nice to them like Nab would when he saw David at Pearson. Yeah, yeah. Y'all have a great day. I love y'all. And thanks for caring about what I think enough to show up every day and hear my opinions and stuff. That really does mean a lot to me. I was thinking about it. I was like, damn, people actually get up in the morning and want to hear what Lex has to say. That's an honor. Seriously. I really don't take that lightly. I appreciate y'all. Let's celebrate Chuck tomorrow, guys. 9:30 a.m. Chuck Swirsky, Share the Love Club. We'll be there.